Indonesia, jadi saya bisa membuat presentasi saya dalam bahasa Indonesia, meskipun file yang ditunjukkan di sini adalah dalam bahasa Inggris. Saya adalah program manager untuk Asia Timur dan ASEAN dari Forum Asia, sebuah organisasi HAM regional Asia berkantor pusat di Bangkok, tetapi saya base di Jakarta karena untuk bertanggung jawab untuk hak asasi manusia di ASEAN khususnya dan East Asia. AJI, salah satu penyelenggara di sini, adalah salah satu anggota organisasi dari Forum Asia di samping 58 LSM atau NGO di Asia lainnya. SIPA juga adalah partner lama dari Forum Asia yang bekerja sama untuk isu-isu hak asasi manusia di Asia Tenggara khususnya. Sesi pertama ini, tolong saya diingatkan kalau saya bicara lebih dari 15 menit. Sesi ini saya diminta untuk menjelaskan bagaimana sebetulnya kondisi atau situasi dari hak kebebasan berekspresi atau freedom of expression di kawasan Asia Tenggara. Karena saya berbicara mengenai kawasan Asia Tenggara, maka saya akan berbicara lebih dari batasan ASEAN yang 10 negara. Saya akan memasukkan juga Timor Leste. Dan saya lihat di sini juga nampaknya ada beberapa teman dari Timor Leste. Oke, secara umum kebebasan berekspresi di kawasan Asia Tenggara itu berhubungan dengan berbagai isu lainnya atau bahkan hak-hak asasi lainnya. Misalnya freedom of expression juga berhubungan dengan freedom of association and assembly, kebebasan berkumpul dan mengeluarkan pendapat. Freedom of expression juga berhubungan dengan hak lain seperti misalnya hak atas pembangunan, termasuk isu korupsi, isu perilaku perusahaan di dalam tata kelola bisnis, juga berhubungan dengan isu-isu politik, misalnya national security, right to self-determination. Juga isu yang banyak dibicarakan belakangan adalah freedom of expression in relation to counter against terrorism. Yang klasik dari freedom of expression tentu hubungannya dengan kebebasan pers atau perlindungan kepada jurnalis. Yang kemudian berkembang seperti kita saksikan belakangan ini adalah freedom of expression dalam kaitannya dengan kebebasan berekspresi di internet. Nah, inilah yang saya sebutkan. Next slide please. Kalau saya ini ya. Oke, ya ini ya cakupan atau keluasan dari kebebasan berekspresi. Jadi dia bukan hanya terbatas pada isu-isu yang berhubungan dengan media massa atau jurnalisme. Oleh karena itu, saya tidak akan menjelaskan mengenai jurnalisme atau kebebasan dalam konteks freedom of press, karena itulah yang akan nanti mungkin lebih banyak dijelaskan oleh Catherine dalam kapasitasnya di dalam bidang kebebasan jurnalis atau pelindungan kepada jurnalis. Next. Nah, dalam pelanggaran terhadap hak kebebasan berekspresi di kawasan Asia Tenggara, setidaknya Forum Asia mengidentifikasi beberapa aktor atau kelompok yang paling sering menjadi target. Yang pertama tentunya jurnalis. Ini ya saya bilang klasik tantangan atau challenge dalam freedom of expression umumnya terjadi terhadap atau mengancam keamanan dan kebebasan dari jurnalis. Apakah dia jurnalis media cetak, elektronik, atau sekarang internet media. Yang kedua adalah human rights defenders. Disinilah isu kebebasan berekspresi juga berhubungan dengan berbagai hak yang dilindungi di dalam hak asasi manusia, misalnya Universal Declaration of Human Rights atau kovenan-kovenan hak asasi manusia yang diatur di dalam mekanisme HAM internasional maupun dalam hukum nasional. Aktivis atau human rights defenders mencakup tentu aktivis yang berjuang untuk hak asasi, tetapi juga yang berjuang untuk kelompok-kelompok spesifik seperti aktivis buruh, labor activists, aktivis lingkungan, aktivis mahasiswa, aktivis LGBT, aktivis masyarakat adat, dan juga banyak aktivis-aktivis lainnya yang saya rasa tidak bisa kita sebutkan satu demi satu. Kita bisa lacak di seluruh negara ASEAN plus Timor Leste, kelompok-kelompok ini kerap menjadi korban atau mendapatkan serangan ataupun ancaman. Yang ketiga, political opposition, khususnya di negara-negara yang otoriter. Political opposition juga kerap mendapatkan ancaman untuk ekspresi-ekspresi politiknya. Apakah itu dalam suasana sehari-hari, bukan dalam momentum election atau pemilihan umum, maupun dalam momentum pemilihan umum. Kasus ini bisa kita lihat banyak terjadi sekarang ini misalnya di Kamboja. Ya, di sana oposisi political opposition itu sedang menguat, maka represi terhadap political opposition atau oposisi banyak terjadi. Yang keempat tentu yang saya kategorikan sebagai common people, orang-orang yang tidak berpikir bahwa tindakannya mengeluarkan pendapat di muka umum, apakah itu di internet ataupun di ruang publik atau di media massa, kemudian mendapatkan ancaman. Misalnya bloggers yang nggak berpikir untuk bahwa ini adalah freedom of expression atau untuk specific rights gitu, hanya hobi misalnya menulis sesuatu, tahu-tahu ditangkap atau dikenakan pasal-pasal yang mengancam kebebasan berekspresi. Atau pengguna sosial media, apakah itu Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, yang lainnya. Nah, ini common people yang juga mereka tidak paham bahwa ada potensi ancaman terhadap mereka ketika menggunakan media. Tetapi kemudian mereka sering kali juga mendapatkan ancaman. Bahkan ketika mereka ingin exercise hak mereka untuk, misalnya yang terkenal di Indonesia itu kasus Poin Pelita. Dia menulis bukan tentang pemerintah, tapi tentang layanan rumah sakit. Tapi pihak swasta juga bisa menggunakan hukum yang ada untuk mengancam masyarakat awam atau common people dalam ekspresi-ekspresi yang bersifat publik. Next. Jadi kalau saya boleh bagi menjadi dua tantangan utama dari pembatasan maupun ancaman terhadap freedom of expression di Asia Tenggara, saya membaginya menjadi dua. Yang pertama, adanya hukum, peraturan, perundang-undangan, dan regulasi yang membatasi atau mengancam kebebasan berekspresi. Bentuknya macam-macam. Teman-teman mungkin teman-teman jurnalis tentu lebih tahu bagaimana hukum yang ada, termasuk hukum yang mengatur mengenai media dan jurnalisme, digunakan untuk membatasi ekspresi. Yang umum digunakan defamation law atau hukum pencemaran, ya. Ini banyak digunakan di negara-negara yang otoriter, yang terkenal, yang belakangan ini banyak disorot. Itu misalnya di Malaysia untuk dengan penggunaan Sedition Act, Kamboja juga, di Indonesia juga, bahkan individu bisa menuntut individu lain karena merasa dirinya dicemari, ya, atau karena merasa dirinya integritasnya atau nama baiknya dicemari. Lalu ada hukum juga yang mengatur mengenai incitement atau ajakan untuk sikap permusuhan. Ini biasanya kalau kita berbicara mengenai ekspresi terhadap pemerintah ataupun pemerintah lokal atau perusahaan-perusahaan besar, banyak digunakan sebagai cara untuk membatasi bahkan untuk mengancam kebebasan berekspresi. Yang ketiga, blasphemy. Ini umumnya undang-undang atau peraturan yang mengatur mengenai ekspresi-ekspresi yang berhubungan dengan agama atau kepercayaan. Di Indonesia saat ini, khususnya Jakarta, ini lagi panas sekali dengan penggunaan pasal blasphemy ini terhadap salah satu kandidat gubernur yang mencalonkan diri. Di negara lain juga banyak isu blasphemy ini, bukan cuma di Indonesia. Di di Burma atau Myanmar misalnya, penyebutan Rohingya dalam pemberitaan atau di sosial media juga bisa berujung kepada tuntutan blasfemi ini, karena terminologi Rohingya itu tidak dikenal secara formal oleh pemerintah ataupun di negara itu. Ini adalah perdebatan yang belum selesai dan memang masih penting untuk terus ditelaah. Tetapi hukum peraturan perundang-undangan yang berhubungan dengan internet freedom umumnya bukan melindungi masyarakat dalam upayanya untuk melaksanakan haknya untuk berekspresi, tetapi kebanyakan digunakan untuk membatasi hak untuk berekspresi. Jika tidak suka dengan apa yang dikatakan, tanpa memerlukan payung hukum, atau penggunaan hukum yang digunakan secara serampangan atau semena-mena untuk membatasi kebebasan berekspresi yang dilakukan oleh orang atau individu tertentu. Next, saya memberi riset mengenai freedom of expression dalam hubungannya dengan freedom of religion. Asia Tenggara, sentimen keagamaan itu bukan muncul hanya sekarang. Ketegangan etnis, ketegangan agama itu tidak muncul hanya dalam menciptakan satu strata masyarakat berdasarkan etnis yang kemudian juga berhubungan dengan agama. Sentimen ini misalnya di Indonesia, sentimen terhadap etnis Tionghoa itu tidak dibentuk dalam waktu 10 tahun, tetapi diwarisi dari masa kolonial. Demikian pula sentimen terhadap Rohingya itu bukan dia menjadi penguasa, ya, itu adalah sentimen sosial yang sudah ada. Nah, sehingga kali ini yang saya jelaskan, saya coba jelaskan, sentimen religius ini berhubungan juga dengan sentimen kelas. Nah, maka dia ekonominya lebih baik. Rohingya juga begitu. Di masa kolonial Inggris, secara ekonomi, secara politik kuat. Nah, inilah sentimen yang campur dengan sentimen politik, sentimen ekonomi yang hadir pada saat ini di kawasan Asia. Sentimen anti Tionghoa atau anti Rohingya itu enggak begitu sebenarnya ceritanya. Nah, kondisi ini, sentimen-sentimen ini digunakan oleh kelompok-kelompok politik untuk, dan ini diperparah lagi dengan kenyataan bahwa di tingkat global kita menghadapi satu. Jadi dalam prinsip-prinsip hak asasi manusia, ekspresi maupun ekspresi yang berhubungan dengan keagamaan tidak dimasukkan dalam kategori pidana. Dia bisa dihukum, dia bisa diusut, bisa digugat, tetapi kategorinya perdata, bukan pidana. Selama undang-undang membolehkan pemberlakuan pemidanaan terhadap isu-isu keagamaan, maka selalu ada ruang untuk menyalahgunakan undang-undang tersebut, dan itulah yang selalu terjadi baik di Indonesia maupun di Asia Tenggara. Jadi yang betul-betul misalnya mengajak permusuhan, mengajak misalnya melakukan penyerangan, pembunuhan, itu sedikit sekali yang betul-betul diusut. Tetapi yang secara tidak sengaja atau tidak ada intensi untuk mengucapkan, mengekspresikan ekspresi-ekspresi keagamaan atau yang berhubungan dengan keagamaan, justru lebih sering mendapatkan pemidanaan. Inilah kenapa kalau saya berpendapat dan hak asasi manusia berpendapat bahwa blasfemi atau penodaan, penistaan, pencemaran terhadap nilai-nilai, elemen-elemen keagamaan tidak boleh dimasukkan dalam ranah pidana, karena itu sangat rentan terhadap penyalahgunaan kekuasaan. Next, tadi saya menyebutkan salah satu akar dan ruang, salah satu alat yang sering digunakan untuk membatasi kebebasan berekspresi adalah hukum dan peraturan, hukum, peraturan, dan perundang-undangan. Di seluruh negara di Asia Tenggara, kecuali Brunei, bukan karena tidak ada, tapi kita nggak kumpulkan datanya untuk Brunei, mungkin agak sulit. Terdapat berbagai jenis peraturan perundang-undangan yang membatasi, yang dapat membatasi, yang dapat mengancam, dan digunakan untuk membatasi dan mengancam kebebasan berekspresi. Ini saya kecil ya, tapi nanti mungkin panitia bisa membagi. Mulai dari Kamboja, Indonesia, Malaysia, Myanmar, Laos, lalu next Filipina, Singapura, Thailand, Vietnam, Timor Leste, semua memiliki undang-undang yang membatasi dan mengancam kebebasan berekspresi. Kalau saya boleh memberi kredit positif, Timor Leste mempunyai yang paling sedikit undang-undang yang membatasi. Untuk karena negara ini lahir dalam spirit yang baru, yang muncul karena sebagai bentuk reaksi dari pelanggaran hak asasi manusia. Sehingga di Timor Leste lebih sedikit. Tapi dari 10 negara yang lainnya, mereka memiliki dimensi pembatasan yang berbeda. Ada negara yang sangat menekankan pembatasan kepada penggunaan internet. Ada negara yang membatasi pada jurnalisme, media, dan internet. Ya. Misalnya Indonesia, saya sekali-sekali mau memuji negara saya sendiri. Dalam hal peraturan perundang-undangan mengenai jurnalisme, dia relatif tidak terlalu restriktif. Tetapi begitu kegiatan jurnalisme dilakukan dalam konteks transaksi elektronik, ya, undang-undang IT, atau dalam konteks national security, misalnya dalam isu Papua, maka penggunaan atau undang-undang untuk mengancam kebebasan berekspresi menjadi lebih besar. Di Singapura misalnya, blasfemi dalam konteks keagamaan tidak terlalu banyak digunakan, tetapi ekspresi sebagai kritik terhadap pemerintah itu lebih banyak digunakan. Di Malaysia mungkin kombinasi blasfemi maupun kritik terhadap undang-undang yang berhubungan dan kritik terhadap pemerintah juga banyak digunakan. Vietnam juga tergolong yang menggunakan undang-undang untuk membatasi atau mengancam kebebasan berekspresi yang berhubungan dengan kritik-kritik terhadap pemerintah. Jadi 11 negara minus Brunei memiliki berbagai peraturan perundang-undangan yang dapat membatasi dan telah membatasi kebebasan berekspresi, tetapi setiap negara memiliki konteksnya sendiri. Filipina juga tergolong negara yang cukup positif dalam perlindungan kebebasan berekspresi. Saya sudah dipanggil, masih ada waktu ya Mbak Kartika ya, 10.30 kan? Jam 10, waduh dicepetin. Oke. Jadi itulah gambaran situasi dari kebebasan berekspresi di Asia Tenggara. Kalau teman-teman tertarik, kita bisa bikin diskusi lanjutannya mengenai sesi berikutnya harus berbicara apa yang bisa dilakukan di kawasan Asia Tenggara untuk melindungi kebebasan berekspresi. Kalau tadi situasinya, sesi ini hanya untuk menjelaskan ini sebenarnya. Jadi tapi bisa lihat nanti teman-teman apa-apa yang mekanisme apa yang saya tawarkan dan mungkin bisa digunakan untuk melindungi wartawan maupun kebebasan berekspresi. Juga ada beberapa publication nanti di bagian terakhir dari presentasi saya. Satu riset yang dilakukan oleh Formasia mengenai freedom of expression in relation to freedom of religion. Bagaimana freedom of religion dan expression itu sangat terkait dan dipraktekkan bukan cuma di Asia Tenggara tapi di Asia. Begitu saya stop presentasi saya supaya bisa bertanya sedikit-sedikit.
Oke. Baik teman-teman, ada yang punya pertanyaan? Silakan.
Terima kasih, saya Alfonsa dari Aji Jayapura. Ini berkaitan dengan kebebasan berekspresi, khususnya media ya. Jadi kita di Papua ini belum lama ini kan terjadi pemblokiran sebuah media yang Suara Papua, dan ini menurut saya diskriminasi kita bilang negara ini terhadap Papua, khususnya kami itu sebuah media anak-anak muda ya, yang kita mau mengembangkan ekspresi kami lewat media ini dan kemudian berjalan, tetapi kami dijudge sebagai memihak Papua Merdeka dan lain sebagainya. Terus menurut saya ini juga pelanggaran negara terhadap kebebasan ekspresi kami di sana, karena ketika media itu diblokir tanpa ada surat peringatan pertama, kedua, kemudian ketika kami melanggar itu baru kami media itu diblokir. Ini tanpa seperti peringatan seperti itu, dan kami merasa ini diskriminasi sekali terhadap kami anak-anak Papua yang berkembang dengan media yang ada. kemudian dibuat seperti itu, dan saya rasa ini ketidakadilan terjadi terhadap kami anak-anak Papua. Seperti itu, terima kasih.
Satu lagi ya, kita karena waktunya terbatas, mungkin 3 pertanyaan gitu. Satu lagi mungkin yang belakang. Mas saya belakang.
Ya, terima kasih, saya Fadli dari Aji Bandar Lampung. Pembahasannya menarik. Memang kita disibukkan dengan kebebasan berekspresi. Sekarang kalau di Indonesia kan banyak hal-hal yang muncul saking bebasnya, kemudian buat status-status yang kemudian memantik kerucuhan, kerusuhan dan konflik gitu. Sebetulnya kan di negara-negara maju juga kebebasan ekspresi itu tidak mutlak gitu kan, tetap saja dibatasi oleh tatanan-tatanan sosial gitu, terutama etika gitu. Nah, di Indonesia mungkin kebebasan berekspresi itu tidak sejalan dengan keadaban dalam berekspresi ya. Nah, gimana kemudian itu bisa sejalan gitu? Karena memang tidak bisa kebebasan berekspresi itu mutlak gitu. Apa yang misalnya bisa dilakukan atau trik-triknya gitu ya. Karena kacau juga kalau misalnya sekarang kan di banyak hal-hal yang misalnya buat status yang menistakan orang atau apa itu kan nggak bagus juga gitu. Gimana gitu ya ke depannya biar itu sejalan keadaban dan kebebasan berekspresi.
Saya jelaskan. Yang kedua, ini sebuah anak Papua. Ini yang tadi saya jelaskan memang setiap negara memiliki konteks bagaimana apa bentuk represi yang dipilih oleh negara dalam konteks kebebasan berekspresi. Jadi misalnya gini, di Indonesia saya katakan positif peraturan perundangan maupun kebebasan terhadap pers, kecuali di Papua dan misal kalau saya boleh jelaskan dalam pemberitaan-pemberitaan yang berhubungan dengan korporasi di tingkat daerah, itu jurnalis banyak mengalami ancaman dan pembatasan. Itu adalah tantangan yang harus dihadapi oleh jurnalis dan juga gerakan hak asasi. Bagaimana gerakan hak asasi dan gerakan kebebasan jurnalis bisa membantu teman-teman, saudara-saudara di Papua untuk juga bisa exercising hak mereka. Kalau orang di Jakarta boleh ngomong sembarangan di sosial media, kenapa orang Papua tidak boleh bicara hal yang baik mengenai hak untuk self-determination, mengenai kekerasan, mengenai eksploitasi terhadap tanah Papua? Itu kan ada double standar. Tadi teman yang nomor 3 tanya, kenapa sih orang diperbolehkan bicara yang nggak benar dan memicu konflik? Loh, yang bicara benar pun bisa dibatasi haknya. Jadi persoalannya bukan dari apa yang diucapkan, tetapi bagaimana pemerintah mengatur dan mengelola kebebasan berekspresi. Ini berhubungan dengan yang ketiga. Kalau dikatakan bahwa adab dari kebebasan berekspresi Indonesia lebih rendah dari Eropa atau Amerika, saya tidak setuju. Di sana ekspresi penghinaan, meledek itu jauh lebih kejam daripada kita. Berita palsu juga banyak, ya. Tetapi ada minimal kondisi yang harus dihadirkan oleh negara. Misalnya apa? Adanya rule of law, ya, adanya kepastian hukum. Kalau satu orang bisa besok dipidana kriminalisasi, besok ditarik lagi kasusnya, apa yang terjadi dengan KPK, Haris di Kontras, dan aktivis-aktivis di daerah? Mereka tidak tahu kapan ucapan mereka akan mendapatkan ancaman kriminalisasi. Maka ini bukan soal seberapa jorok, seberapa jahat kita berkata di sosial media, tetapi apakah ada kepastian hukum? Itu tidak dihadirkan di Indonesia. Begitu ada kepastian hukum, rule of law, dengan sendirinya peradaban itu akan dibentuk. Orang tahu batas sejauh mana dia bisa mengatakan hal yang palsu, sejauh mana dia bisa mengutarakan hak dia untuk berekspresi. Nah, itu yang menurut saya masih menjadi PR. Indonesia jurnalis sudah lebih terlindungi, tetapi tidak berarti semua ekspresi boleh dikatakan dan ada jaminan untuk berekspresi. Saya rasa jawabannya di situ. Mudah-mudahan memuaskan. Kalian menutup, terima kasih atas perhatiannya. Mohon maaf atas waktu yang
Kita terima kasih. Oke. Kita akan nanti cari sisi itu sendiri ya Pak ya. Kita akan usahakan. Teman-teman, sesi berikutnya kita akan berdiskusi soal kebebasan pers di Asia Tenggara. Nah, untuk presentasi akan dilakukan dalam bahasa Inggris. Teman-teman mungkin yang butuh untuk penerjemah silakan berkoordinasi dengan yang di belakang. Oh di tengah, ya, iya bisa koordinasi di sana. Menyerahkan KTP dan nomor telepon untuk mendapatkan. Karena sudah lagi, boleh. Nama aja nama ya. Karena kemarin kita kalau nggak salah itu sempat ada dua yang ya entahlah mungkin ke bawah atau gimana. Free expression and press freedom in Southeast Asia. Jadi kita akan bicara apa itu kebebasan berekspresi, apa itu kebebasan pers, dan situasinya di masing-masing negara di Asia Tenggara. Untuk please, waktu dan kesempatan tadi.
Selamat pagi, magandang umaga, good morning. But that's the only bahasa I know apart from terima kasih. Okay, so today we'll speak about free expression and press freedom in Southeast Asia. So what do we mean when we say freedom of opinion and expression? So these are the declarations, treaties, and covenants that talk about human rights. I've specifically listed here those that pertain to the topic for today, which is expression and opinion. So let's break it down. Freedom to hold opinions. What do we mean by that? It just means that we have the right to disagree or criticize. That's the right that's being protected when we talk about, opinion and expression. So the next part would be the right to seek, receive, and impart information and ideas. So the right to seek, receive, and impart. When we talk about that, we're talking about self-expression. We're also talking about press freedom, because this is our responsibility. Also the right to know and access to information. And when we talk about all kinds of information and ideas, we are talking about pluralism, access to all kinds of data, news, entertainment, sound, image, all of these things. So without interference, what do you mean by that? It just means that without interference from public authorities or from government, as well as the idea that there should be no censorship. When we say through any media, so like I said a while ago, it will be print, broadcast, online, multimedia, words, images, and sound. And when we talk about regardless of frontiers, we just mean that all of these rights go beyond borders. But freedom of expression and opinion as a right, as a human right, what does that mean? If it's human rights, it basically means for all or for everyone. It's nationally and internationally protected by laws, constitutions, bylaws, and it is not like what our friend here a while ago asked, but these rights are not absolute. Of the conventions and declarations that we have, only 4 rights are non-derogable. When we say non-derogable, it refers to that there will be no derogation of these rights. So those rights are only four. Freedom of expression and opinion does not fall under those four. Okay? The human right, the bigger picture is the freedom of expression and press freedom. So if you ask about journalists, do we have a journalist's right? Well, journalists don't have a special status. Journalists are just like any other human being. But we have a derivative right. It means that our responsibilities and our rights, when we do our work, is because it is protected because we do it on behalf of the public. Which laws recognize this? So we have the Constitution, right? We have rules and regulations, and we have specific press laws or media laws in Southeast Asia. So what do these press laws recognize? So these are the four: protection by the state, protection against censorship, and protection of sources. We have freedom to know, right to know, access information, and inquire on events that are of public interest. So we always have this tag that of public interest. It has to be done on behalf of the citizens, of the public or the audience that we serve. We can refuse subordination. We cannot be compelled to perform contrary to convictions and conscience. Also, we can establish and form media associations. So this is the right to association. But like we said a while ago, the right is not absolute. So we have limitations. And what are these limitations? So we have legislations, we have laws, other laws apart from the Constitution, Penal Code, and the press laws. When the right to information or access to information, this can be limited if there is no freedom to information law. In Southeast Asia, those countries that have the freedom of information law are Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, and Malaysia. But in Malaysia, it's only the states of Penang and Selangor. The rest of the Southeast Asian countries do not have the FOI law. And of course, the changing media landscape will provide our context of how we do our work and what our responsibilities are. So before, we only have print, and then we moved to broadcast, radio, and television. And now we're moving online. So we have the internet, and with the internet comes social media. So this also has limitations that can affect our practice of the profession. You cannot see, but we have other issues in Southeast Asia, and the number one would be violence against the media by state and non-state actors. And the Committee to Protect Journalists. So in Southeast Asia, we have, we're saying Southeast Asia because the 10 countries plus East Timor. So we have Freedom House, we have the different rankings. So Brunei, not free. Cambodia, not free. Laos, not free. Malaysia, not free. Myanmar, not free. Philippines, partly free. Singapore, not free. Thailand, not free. Timor-Leste, partly free. Vietnam, not free. So, now we know that says a lot about our situation in Southeast Asia. In Reporters Without Borders, they have what we call the World Press Freedom Index. They rank the countries based on the pluralism of the media, whether journalists are attacked, whether there's pluralism in terms of media ownership, and if there's access to information. So there are 180 countries. They surveyed 180 countries. The ranking of all Southeast Asian countries is from 98 to 175. Also says a lot about our situation with regard to press freedom. The countries in Southeast Asia rank the bottom third of the index. Only Timor-Leste ranked within the 100. Timor-Leste is ranked 98. So the rest, let me read because you will not be able to see. Brunei is 156. Cambodia is 132nd. Indonesia is 124th. Laos is 170th. Malaysia is 144th. Myanmar is 131st. Philippines is 127th. Singapore is 151st. Thailand is 142nd. Timor-Leste is 98th. Vietnam is 175th. So bottom third. With the Committee to Protect Journalists, they survey on the impunity index. When we say impunity, we mean the perpetrators of attacks and threats against journalists and media outlets are not punished. So, or they get away with murder. So only Philippines is in that index, which is number 4. This is the contradiction with Philippines. It's considered to having one of the freest countries for journalists because our rights is protected under the Constitution and the Bill of Rights recognize it. But it ranks number 4. This is because of the killings of journalists. On CIPA database, because of our members, the Center for Media Freedom and Responsibility and the National Union of Journalists of the Philippines, we have around 183 journalists killed in the line of duty since 1986. Okay. In terms of other attacks and threats, CPJ also has the 10 most censored countries. They did this in 2015. 2 countries fall under that survey, Myanmar and Vietnam. So Vietnam is ranked number 6, Myanmar is number 9. So this is the general situation of press freedom in Southeast Asia. We can talk more about the countries later if you want. Other issues on the press is self-censorship. This is also very prevalent, especially in countries in authoritarian regimes or dictatorship. Corruption, what we call paid-for journalism. This has to do with the ethics and professionalism of journalists and media practitioners. The vested interest of owners and friends. We found that a lot of the countries are now facing what we call the trend of media conglomeration. So these are the owners of the media outlets are very few. It's actually a monopoly. And some of the owners in other countries, most of them, the owners have political interests. So they are affiliated with the ruling parties, or they have very high, they have their own parties. So that's also a trend. Another issue would be the commercialization of the media, meaning the tyranny of advertising, because most of the media tend to be profit-oriented. So instead of making news for the public interest, we make news to earn money. So that's it. That's my entire presentation. We can talk about more, or we can discuss the other issues that you may want. I would just like to also present where I come from. The Southeast Asian Press Alliance was established in 1998. We are a regional network of 12 members in 7 Southeast Asian countries. AGI is our member. We have programs on advocacy and journalism development. By advocacy, we work for genuine press freedom and free expression in the region. With journalism development, we provide knowledge building as well as trainings for journalists and media organizations. Thank you.
Teman-teman, kita beri aplaus dulu. Saya buka, saya ingin bertanya 5 pertanyaan. Kita mulai dari.
Okay. So far, for Timor-Leste is happy for us, like journalists, because we are freedom of expression is a very, it's good for us to how to access information from our state government and wherever we want. My question is how to the SIPA report. Every year you read that discrimination, violence against journalists is more than still increased. Like to the Papua case, it's for me like a human, like a journalist, is very terrible for me. So what kind of the SIPA do it? Already do it, and then maybe you find some good solution to the United Nations officer, or maybe and then like influence the government, or maybe you have some policy to influence them to change some policy or some law of the in government policy. So please tell us the so far is what the successful got it from your vision to help to protect the journalists and media in SIPA members. Thank you.
Ya, berikutnya yang belakang tuh, yang tengah dulu, yang tengah ya. Banyak yang ya.
Thank you. My name is Nana. I come from Aji Solo. I've been to Brunei a month ago, and I really surprised that there's only 2 television channels in Brunei, and it's only broadcasting propaganda. And I spent 2 nights at Brunei, and I almost recognize all the conversation, and all day they just play something like in Indonesia we call the Islamic music, and then they just play that all day long. And I've been to Vietnam also, but at least there is entertainment channel, so people can get, maybe they can get news like hard news like in Indonesia, but at least they can see entertainment. But I have a question. how WordPress and SIPA can help people in Brunei to get their news, because I also speak with Bruneian, and they say that a lot of things that they can get information more about the case, like something like rape, and then stealing, something like that. They can get more information to the police because they can access it. How can we help them to get?
Ya, berikutnya. Oh ya, yang belakang dulu aja ya. Terus.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Mwangi from Kenya, East Africa. I'm impressed by your presentation in terms of describing the freedom of expression and the fact that journalists do not have special freedom, don't have special rights. And that's very good for them to understand that they don't have special rights. They only have rights because they serve public interest. But the most interesting thing is that in Kenya, for example, or in Africa, we have very good laws protecting journalists and the freedom of expression. The biggest challenge that we have is impunity against journalists, such that those laws becomes useless because they are not applied when it comes to protection of journalists. And the second biggest problem is not the government, again, is the non-state actors. And also the other challenge is the commercial interest and self-censorship of the journalist. But how do we help the journalists to respond to the emerging issues? And how do we help journalists also become part and parcel of tackling socio-economic problems of our countries? Thank you.
Nama saya Agam, saya dari Haji Makassar. Yang saya ingin tanyakan terkait materi ini adalah bagaimana Anda melihat ketika perusahaan media di Indonesia dikendalikan oleh para politisi atau politisi yang mempunyai media itu. Apa yang saya tawarkan solusi apa dan lakukan terhadap hal ini? Sebab begini, kami menceritakan sedikit bahwa tekanan redaksi newsroom itu kami merasakan sekali ketika ada seorang politisi itu mempunyai media tersebut. Kami tidak bebas mensuarakan untuk publik dan sering untuk kepentingan politisi itu sendiri. Ancamannya pemecatan atau dikeluarkan dari perusahaan tersebut. Nah, sementara kami juga umur berjalan terus. Nah, syukur-syukur kalau dipecat kita di usia muda. Tapi kalau di usia yang sudah tidak produktif, ini sangat mengganggu. Terima kasih.
Satu lagi.
Oke, terima kasih. Saya Afnan dari Haji Budi. Saya menambahkan Mas Dadi Sagam. Pasti sama, kita memang dalam satu perusahaan sama. Beda. Bedanya Mas Agam ini adalah jurnalis yang digaji setiap bulan. Saya seorang kontributor yang digaji. Bagaimana kalau digaji tayang? Persoalannya, ketika kami dikasih tugas untuk meliput suatu politik dari sebuah partai politik media, dan itu merupakan liputan, kalau di istilah kami dari liputan wajib, dan hirarkinya itu tayang tapi nggak dibayar. Oke, bagaimana untuk mengatur regulasi agar pemilik media tidak seperti itu?
Kira-kira itu apa? Radio Jaya Indonesia atau? Pasti itu apa? Mas refnya apa? Oke.
So but I'll address each question. So for the East Timor, what have we found is a good solution? Well, which mechanisms work in terms of attacks and threats? We do believe that reporting and monitoring the threats and attacks help because it raises the trends of what's happening within the region, what's happening within our profession to the public. And we always believe that it should be, we should make our citizens, our public stakeholders in this issue because it's really them who will provide protection for us apart from ourselves. We need the cooperation of the public to convince government or to convince anybody else that we are an important part of the community and we should be protected. We've been doing a lot of media literacy campaign to have that because our credibility as a media institution is also in question. So we need to raise that and make the public realize what the importance is of media and journalists in the community or in society. Also, we do safety training like this with our partners. Safety training in the newsroom in terms of how to handle physical threats, attacks, as well as to provide digital security. But these are more preventive measures. In terms of mechanisms to answer impunity, we're trying to develop several mechanisms like the quick response team. The quick response teams, or we call it QRT, whenever a threat or an attack happened against a journalist, apart from knowing what happened or providing a case profile, we send teams composed of journalists, civil society organizations, human rights groups, as well as the government, to look into the case and know, one, what happened, and then two, provide whatever we can do as a solution to, for example, if there's a killing, what can we do to build the investigation and to take it to court? Because a lot of these issues, or a lot of the attacks don't even get to the court, right? And if it's in the courts, it gets into the whole failure of the justice system, and thus the impunity happen. Also provide a legal defense for journalists, because except for example the Philippines, where killings are happening very regularly, other countries in Southeast Asia face more lawsuits or imprisonment than killings. So we hope that to establish a media defense team could help. So those are some of the issues we'd like to engage both civil society organizations, media organizations, and the government. I think particularly it's important for us to engage with the government because they will be the one prosecuting this perpetrator. So, and also because most of the attacks and threats are by state actors. So we really need them to know the importance of media in the society. I hope that.
How is work?
Sorry?
How is work now?
How is work?
Yeah, against the government, because every year, 5 years, policy is changed and political change. So how to improve either your vision or your strategy to maintain that nothing changes in the future?
Well, we want something to change, but we want change for the better. Because Southeast Asia, the trend has been in the decline. Most of and laws are there that are more restricted than ever for the media. SIPA is trying to find mechanisms within ASEAN, but that's still in discussion. So we hope to do more. So if you have ideas of how we can engage, then SIPA is always open to discuss these things. And on the 4th, there will be a panel talking about precisely the mechanisms to address these issues. So I think that will be a good continuing discussion for that issue. On Brunei or Vietnam and other restricted countries where propaganda is prominent, and how we can help with the access to information. These countries, even SIPA cannot go in yet. Like Brunei, we don't have a member. Vietnam also, we don't have a member. Laos and Cambodia, because these are restricted countries, it's really difficult. Vulnerabilities of the media there. We try to get more reports out of these countries. So if there are opportunities to engage with like local media organizations, SIPA does try. Like for example, in Cambodia and Vietnam. Now SIPA has 2 members from Cambodia. And in Vietnam, we're also trying to get to engage more with the groups. But in terms of access to information, it can be dangerous. So I think the solution would be more to train or build the capacity of these journalists to be more professional in terms of how they do their skills or to improve their skills, and also be aware of the legal situation that they can be, that they need to think of when they try and get stories out of these restricted countries. So it's a work in progress. It's really difficult, but we're trying to be present in these countries to be able to help the journalists address their issues. Kenya. Yes, correct. Laws are usually very good. Even the Philippines, I think the laws are extremely well written, and if you just read the laws, you'll say, oh, we have we have a lot of freedom and rights in countries. But true, the nuances in the implementation of these laws and how, for example, governments use these laws to restrict journalists and media outlets. So, in terms of impunity, I've already answered some of the mechanisms that we're trying to do and develop. In terms of the social economics, we try to engage with unions, because with the cooperation of journalists, they need to build themselves and work within their groups to fight for their rights. I mean, it cannot be just a single journalist or a single outlet, a media outlet. It has to be the entire profession. So it takes a while to be able to do that, for us to fight for our welfare and to improve the working conditions of journalists. So we have several unions that we're working with, SIPA, so to address these issues on working conditions, as well as also engage media owners, but it's very difficult to start the discussion. So with that comes the pressure from newsrooms. I think all journalists, especially those are like correspondents, don't have enough rights, or the working conditions of journalists across the board is really bad. We have no wages, we have no insurance, so we work um, in vulnerable conditions, but we don't have any safety precautions. So we're trying to address that as well with the journalists' organizations to try to at least push for those rights. There are some organizations like the Rory Peck Trust Foundation who which provide insurance for freelance journalists. So you can look into that if you want. But the general conditions of the press in terms of the media ownership is a priority issue for SIPA. I think first we want to know the baseline because there are only two most recent that I have at the top of my head that talks about research that talked about media ownership. One is in Cambodia and another is in the Philippines. This was supported by the Reporters Without Borders. So it laid out the field in the Philippines and in Cambodia of what the media ownership is like in those countries. So if we can work more and do that for all the Southeast Asian countries, then that's a good resource already for us. Because knowing what's happening in the field and knowing what we're supposed to fight for makes the policies or the campaigns that we'll do proactive. We will be addressing the issue more if we know what's happening on the ground. So we want evidence-based action. So we'll try and get that to have a media ownership scan or media environment scan of the other countries in Southeast Asia as well.
Yeah, it's quite interesting to talk about the media ownership and the owner political interest. A couple of months ago, almost 3 or 5 journalists were attacked by protesters in some part of Jakarta because the protesters think that the journalists represent the political interest of the owner, because the owner of the media also has a political party. So it's a common practice here in Indonesia that the politician, the owner of the media, politician, they use their media for their own political interest. They use their media for campaign, and we have, two divided television. One sided with one party, and the other one sided with other political party. So people start to think that this media, or television, or newspaper, they become the mouthpiece of the political interest here. And it usually happens that journalists on the field, they become the victim, they being targeted by a protester or maybe other political interest, opposition. Such kind of thing happen here, quite happen. And what do you think about that? What can be done?
That's why we have been saying, one of our members of which I came from, the Center for Media Freedom and Responsibility in the Philippines, the way to address the press freedom issues is two-way. So it's the ethics and professionalism from. The other one would be press freedom protection. Because the two, we believe, work together. We have been saying in the Philippines that responsibility is our best protection. So we like to build the capacity of journalists so they know what to do in situations like when they're covering protests, or when they're in a crisis or conflict situation, when they're covering war. There are a number of media organizations and journalist associations that do training to better equip journalists in handling the situation. It might not be accessible to anyone, but we will try and get as many to be able to do that training.
Yeah, so
Tolong mic-nya masuk.
Okay, so
Your name and where?
hey, my name is Adama Liba. I'm from the Gambia, West Africa. My question is, how can we hold government accountable? I think as a journalist, it's the only profession that actually talks about one's own individual values. There is no way you can teach somebody how to lie or tell the truth. They have to have that in them. So if I am saying that this government it's fraudulent or there's some impunity in it, and I can prove it, why am I held accountable? Why am I put in jail? Why am I killed? So I think this is our responsibility as journalists, not only to seek protection, but also to hold them accountable. What are we doing to actually hold them accountable?
I would agree. Precisely why journalists' work or media freedom is protected is precisely because of that role, which is to hold the powers that be accountable. So the more we do our job right, and the more we do good in our work, the better we hold the powers that be accountable. So I think that's the relationship of the government, the media, and the public in society. So that's how democracies work, and all of us would like to have that achieved. But of course, it's difficult given the different contexts and situations of the journalists that we have. For example, the working conditions and the laws that limit our rights. So we have to work within those contexts, but we're trying to get.
Ya, silakan masih ada yang punya pertanyaan. Oke, kita ke.
This is Begum from Germany, Vice President of German Journalists Union, Stuttgart. I like to know whether you have any asylum system for the journalists in Asia for the Asian journalists. Thank you.
When I was working back in the Philippines, when a journalist is threatened or attacked, and because usually this happens in local situations, correct? So we try to get them out of where they are. For example, if a journalist is threatened within a certain province, if we can, we will provide safety net and bring him or her to another province where the influence of those perpetrators or those who attacked him or her will not get to that journalist. I have one case in particular that I know of, that a journalist came from the Philippines and was brought to another Asian country because of threats and attacks against their family. So it has been done. So yes, within the region it has been done before. It's just that, of course, we're also limited by our resources. So we can't do it for every case, but if that's the best, then we do. And it's not just asylum, but also with regard to, we found that this also helps when we try to address killings in the Philippines. The courts or the cases where they are, usually we try and get the venues of the courts in a different court because the influence of, for example, the mayor or the governor who's the suspect or the accused in a journalist killing case, the influence of that authority within their location is very big. So to get courts to work, at least be unbiased when they hold the trials, we ask the Supreme Court or whatever court that we can to transfer the trials in another jurisdiction. It helped. It helped in the case of one journalist, Merlin Esperat. We've tried and asked it for other cases, but not all will be given. But like I said, we also need the engagement of the government, because in the Philippines we were able to do or make some movement in the trials of journalists by also engaging like the police and the court system. So it might be difficult, but at least engaging them will provide like an opening or an opportunity to prosecute cases.
Yang depan, silakan depannya.
Menarik materi yang diberikan soal kebebasan berekspresi dan perlindungan terhadap pers. Saya singkat saja, terutama kepada pihak pembicara. Jadi kita bicara bagaimana melindungi masyarakat, kebebasan berekspresi masyarakat, kebebasan wartawan, jurnalis juga. Yang jadi pertanyaan saya kepada pihak penyelenggara, apakah sudah ada apa yang sudah kita lakukan terhadap pendekatan apa atau upaya apa yang kita sudah pernah lakukan terhadap pihak pemerintah dalam hal ini ya, terutama pihak pemerintah yang relatif represif, yang represif terhadap kegiatan berjurnalistik, terutama kepada jurnalis, untuk memberi penyadaran atau kesadaran kepada mereka, minimal mengurangi lah, mereduksi kekerasan terhadap jurnalis ya, dan bagaimana ya, maksudnya apa yang sudah dilakukan oleh kita, apakah sudah pernah kita mengadakan kegiatan yang sama seperti ini, workshop terhadap pihak, terutama junta-junta militer yang keras-keras gitu kan, kayak di Vietnam dulu, Myanmar itu kan, keras terhadap jurnalis. Apa upaya yang sudah kita lakukan? Terima kasih.
Ya, yang berikutnya.
To ask a lot of
Nama wilayah dan
My name is Bukti Suryani from Yogyakarta. To ask now a lot of NGO giving attention for media freedom issue, and if NGO giving provide fund for media, whether it can be solution about monopoly problem by conglomerate, whether it can be trend to media future. Thank you.
Ya, yang berikutnya silakan.
Teman-teman AJ Makassar. Saya Nurdin dari AJ Makassar. Ada beberapa kasus yang saya pernah dampingi terkait dengan penyerangan kantor media dan kekerasan terhadap jurnalis. Namun dari semua kasus itu hampir pasti putus di tengah jalan dan jarang sampai ke proses sidang. Nah, problem yang unik di sini adalah ketika media terlibat kasus atau diserang oleh ini, malah kemudian tidak ada dukungan publik. Nah, bedanya dengan soal kebebasan berekspresi yang biasanya misalnya menyangkut soal personal orang, nah itu malah itu lebih banyak dukungan dan itu biasanya sampai ke peradilan. Nah, ini aneh kan, ketika ada beberapa kasus di Palopopos, waktu itu penyerangan pembakaran Palopopos waktu pilkada, dari hasil investigasi teman-teman bahwa ternyata ada pembiaran dari aparat kepolisian terhadap massa yang menyerang kantor Palopopos. Dari hasil itu kita kemudian mendesak proses ini harus dituntaskan. Namun problemnya adalah ketika kami bertemu dengan pimpinan media jejaring Pajar Group Jawa Pos, mereka malam mereka mempending, tidak mau dibantu, tidak mau dilanjutkan dengan alasan bahwa mereka punya kerjasama dengan aparat kepolisian, karena kami mendesak bahwa kerusuhan yang terjadi di Palopo waktu itu dan penyerangan kantor Palopopos adalah ada proses pembiaran dari aparat kepolisian. Nah, ini problem ketika masalah ini terus terjadi. Kita problem aja ketika melanjutkan vokasi ini kan mereka tidak mau. Gitu. Terus penyerangan Nyangkut soal pilkada juga, penyerangan kantor selebes TV. Ya, advokasinya juga berhenti di tengah jalan karena nyangkut soal ruang redaksi yang tidak independen. Gitu. Mereka disogok dengan iklan, ya selesai. Ya jadinya Aji hanya sebatas apa ya, orang bilang jadi pemadam kebakaran gitu. Setelah itu tidak sampai ke pengadilan. Jadi ada dua sisi di sini. Tidak ada keberpihakan pemerintah melalui aparat kepolisian maupun media itu sendiri. Nah, kasus terakhir beberapa wartawan dipukul oleh Brimob. Nah, itu juga tidak sampai ke peradilan, hanya di peradilan etik. Kita mendorong untuk dipidanakan ke peradilan umum, tapi kepolisian juga tidak ada yang serius untuk menangani. Ini juga problemnya. Yang unik lagi adalah jurnalis juga kadang juga mereka tidak getol untuk didampingi gitu. Anehnya kan ketika masyarakat umum terkait dengan kebebasan ekspresi mereka getol, tapi kalau menyangkut jurnalis kadang mereka ogah-ogahan gitu. Ini problem. Jadi kita diaji juga agak repot dalam mengadvokasi kasus-kasus seperti ini. Nah, yang terakhir satu yang masuk ke pengadilan karena kita desak terus pihak polisian untuk menangkap pelakunya, penikaman terhadap jurnalis dari geng motor. Tapi kemudian di peradilan ternyata yang bebas karena memang bukan pelakunya. Hasil investigasi teman-teman bahwa ternyata yang ditangkap ini bukan pelakunya. Nah, ini problem. Itu mungkin sedikit dari saya. Terima kasih.
Satu lagi. Ya.
How to protect journalists we in the Philippines we have done before a number of trainings with civil society organizations, the police, the court lawyers and judges, a training on understanding the role of the media in democracy. So we were able to do that before. We can replicate that in other countries, I suppose. I will raise it to the SIPA group so that we have a need to do more media literacy trainings, particularly to authorities for engagement. So, thank you for that point. NGO fund to address monopolies. I know that there's a UN fund for media development in in developing countries. So I think maybe that can be explored. So one of our members, FJPI, in Indonesia, suggested that be explored to address media ownership issues in the country. So we will also check that. In terms of the incident in Aji, Makassar, this has been a problem not only for Indonesia, but I think of the press around the world. The credibility of media and journalists are low, and this has to do with our issues in terms of ethics and professionalism. So one thing that we're trying to raise is the capacity and the skills of journalists, as well as strengthening the self-regulatory mechanisms that we have. So there are a number of self-regulation mechanisms. One is the most common, I think, the reader's advocate, but these are per organization. So if there are abuses or abuses by media practitioners, or if there are complaints against the media, they can raise it to the reader's advocate. The problem is people are not aware that apart from legal mechanisms, there are existing self-regulatory mechanisms. So one of our suggestions is to raise awareness on these other venues for complaints against the media. Because addressing the abuse or the corruption issues and questions against the practice of the profession will also help our credibility with the public. Correct? So apart from the reader's advocate, there is also media monitors. So they check the faults of the media when they cover stories. That exists in the Philippines. We have the Philippine Journalism Review. We used to have it in Indonesia, but I think it's now defunct. So there are, of course, now SIPA is working on a big case, press councils. So we'd like to try this self-regulatory mechanism using the press councils to step in on media issues. So instead of going directly to the courts or the government prosecuting the media at fault or using laws and regulations against the media, we try to use the press council mechanisms instead. So we have those in press councils are in Indonesia, East Timor, Thailand, Myanmar, and the Philippines. Thailand and the Philippines have voluntary self-regulation press councils. So they're initiated by journalists associations and journalist groups. In Myanmar, Indonesia, and East Timor, it's a co-regulation kind of thing, but the press councils are independent. So we're trying to start the conversation again to use this mechanism, the press council, to address the issues of to raising public support again for journalists and to know that they have a venue for complaint. Because that's we think that it's the main issue. It's because they think that media or journalists are too powerful, that they don't care if media get attacked or threatened. So we have to take back the public as our stakeholders. So we try to get the public to support us with our work. So that is part of our solution. Or civilian violence. Yes, we have noted that there have been issues in Indonesia and Malaysia on the issue of extremism. We are still in discussion on how we're going to address those issues. If we can build any other mechanism or training to address the raising issues on hate speech, violence because of religion, race. It's still the attacks and threats because that's directly preventing journalists and even citizens from commenting watchdogs of our governments.
In German, founded by Reader or by the Reader or the Journalist Association. I forgot the name.
Sebenarnya saya ingin menanggapi saja bahwa ancaman kebebasan berekspresi bagi jurnalis. Oh ya, nama saya Edi dari Haji Semarang. Bahwa ancaman kebebasan jurnalis dan berekspresi itu tidak hanya secara fisik dan dilakukan oleh aparatur militer maupun preman yang dibiayai oleh narasumber-narasumber yang bermasalah. Tapi seperti yang disampaikan oleh rekan dari Haji Kediri tadi, justru yang paling rawan dan ancaman paling sekarang saat ini di Indonesia adalah perusahaan itu sendiri. ketika dia memanfaatkan bisnisnya untuk kepentingan politik dan mengabaikan bisnisnya untuk hidup bersama buruh, maka yang terjadi adalah seperti ini. Ancaman yang paling besar adalah ini. Kalau ancaman fisik dilakukan oleh aparatur negara, baik polisi maupun tentara, kemudian preman, itu ada proses hukum yang memang selama ini ada bisa dilakukan asal mereka fair. Misalnya sebelah kasus teman-teman jurnalis dengan militer misalnya, itu ditangani benar sampai ada sanksi. Tapi untuk aparat kepolisian kayaknya enggak, karena sejumlah komandannya agak bela. Tapi yang paling rawan lagi adalah bagaimana pemerintah melalui Dinas Tenaga Kerja banyak tidak menyantumkan abai terhadap perusahaan yang tidak memberlakukan pekerjaannya sesuai undang-undang. Ini yang menjadi keresahan bersama. Contoh salah satu media nasional yang disampaikan oleh rekan Kediri itu tadi suatu ironis ketika berita lokal tidak dibayar. Ini kan kembali kepada peradaban tua, bagaimana perbudakan itu masih berlaku. Maka iya kan? Lu kok malah ketawa? Saya serius. Perbudakan. Ini menjadi kesadaran ketika dunia melawan perbudakan, saat inilah kita ketemu untuk melawan itu. Ini penting kawan-kawan semua. Kadang saya merenung, kadang saya menangis sendiri. Kadang ingin bergerak bersama-sama tapi agak susah. Maka momentum pertemuan ini harus dijadikan sebagai gerakan bersama lintas dunia, bukan saudara. Nah, saya berharap SIPA sebagai aliansi jurnalis tingkat Asia Tenggara ini menjadikan agenda bersama. Ini kayak semacam dunia Indonesia. Kalau saya melihat ini kembali ke tidak hanya peradaban tua dengan perbudakan itu, tapi kepada dunia hewan. Ketika saya melihat tayangan Discovery dalam sebuah film itu kan kumpulan zebra dengan kuda itu kalah dengan 2 ekor singa. Sama ketika kita ini ribuan juta sebagai tenaga kerja yang punya nilai intelektual di atas rata-rata pekerja manufaktur, kita tetap kalah dengan kekuasaan yang ada, juragan kita yang didukung oleh pemerintah. Mungkin itu sedikit saya komentar saja bahwa realitas yang terjadi saat ini seperti ini, dan itu mayoritas dijalani oleh kita semua, daripada kasus kekerasan yang sifatnya insidental yang kemudian bisa didorong secara sistemik juga. Mungkin itu.
Every time that a journalist that you know, or can you just send me a message on Facebook or Twitter or even SIPA that it's happening? Because the more I think, the more that we record this issues, the more that we have evidence and we can show people that it's really happening and how we can respond better if we have these cases. So I'd really like to receive this information if you have it. So every time, just a single line saying who, even if you don't want the journalist or the media organization to be named, it's okay. We can keep that confidential. Just send me a tweet or SIPA and say that one journalist in Makassar was not paid for this month. I think having that information on hand will be a good starting discussion, even with the owners. When, for example, Angie sits in and say, oh, we have a number of reports. It's not just 78 cases of violence against journalists, but actually 100 journalists not paid for this month. That clearly shows a trend, and we can argue our cases from there.
Ya.
Bahwa kesetiaan pada etik dan keterampilan di dalam menjalankan profesionalisme sebagai jurnalis itu adalah bentuk pertahanan yang paling hebat untuk melakukan perlindungan diri dari bentuk kekerasan. Dari bahwa kesetiaan pada etik, keterampilan di dalam berjurnalistik itu adalah bukan merupakan jaminan yang penuh bahwa kemudian kita tidak berpotensi mengalami kekerasan. Apa yang disampaikan Gusti tadi tentang 4 jurnalis yang melakukan keributan pada saat ada unjuk rasa di Jakarta, ada kekerasan yang terjadi. Nah, kita melihat bahwa ada dominasi yang luar biasa dari publik media. Apakah SIPA punya angka berapa banyak jurnalis yang setia pada etik dan memiliki keterampilan secara profesional itu terhindarkan dari kekerasan, terlepas dari apakah di dalamnya ada variabel intervensi dari pemilik media atau tidak. Terima kasih.
Ya, sebelah sini, silakan.
Saya membayangkan para juragan di sini sudah mulai pening ya. Ya. Apa namanya?
I'm sorry for the headache.
Oh ya. Para juragan di sini kan banyak gitu ya. Dan sekali lagi, once again, the problem is regulation ya. Sekali lagi permasalahan adalah regulasi. Kita sepakat dengan demokrasi. Kita sepakat bahwa kehidupan kita diatur dengan berlandaskan undang-undang. Dan kita di sini menginginkan kebebasan pers gitu ya. Yang itu semestinya dijamin oleh undang-undang, ya. Karena semuanya berpangkal pada itu. Namun pada prakteknya, gitu ya, bahwa beberapa regulasi itu tidak berpihak pada kebebasan pers itu sendiri, yang artinya juga mengkhianati prinsip atau konsep demokrasi. Nah, pada forum ini banyak sekali data dipaparkan bahwa banyak jurnalis dibunuh, banyak kemudian aturan-aturan yang represif gitu ya. Dan itu kenapa saya berharap sebenarnya tidak hanya SIPA atau Asia Forum yang didudukkan di sini satu meja, tapi juga pemerintah gitu ya, agar bisa menjawab permasalahan-permasalahan ini gitu. Kalian sudah sepakat dengan demokrasi, misalnya pemerintah harus konsisten dengan konsep itu. Itu yang pertama. Di sisi yang lain, jurnalis bekerja untuk melayani publik gitu ya, melayani informasi untuk publik. Yang artinya ketika ada represi, ada tekanan terhadap pers, sesungguhnya yang paling berkepentingan adalah publik juga gitu loh. Publik harus menjadi pendukung utama pers ketika dia ditekan gitu. Karena kita punya tanggung jawab sosial, kita bekerja untuk publik juga. Tapi pada kenyataannya di Indonesia tak banyak gitu ya, people power sesungguhnya ya salah satunya harus membela kebebasan pers itu sendiri. Tapi pada kenyataannya tidak. Nah, ini menurutku harus menjadi renungan kita sendiri. Kenapa kemudian pers tidak kemudian menjadi menjadi sesuatu yang penting bagi publik untuk diperjuangkan gitu loh. Apa yang terjadi gitu? Apakah pers kemudian sudah tidak cukup amanah mengemban kepercayaan publik ini, atau ada permasalahan lain gitu loh? Kalau memang betul-betul pers selama ini kemudian berada di pihak rakyat, kepentingan membela kepentingan rakyat dan sebagainya, logikanya kan tentu kita harusnya dibela ketika ada permasalahan. Nah, ini menjadi renungan kita sendiri di hari kebebasan pers ini. Thank you.
Ya, jadi siapa namanya, dari mana?
Oh, my name is Afgan from Purwokerto. Aji Purwokerto. Thank you.
Saya hanya mungkin menambahkan sisi lain dari soal kebebasan berekspresi dan kata-kata kekerasan terhadap jurnalis. Tadi malam Aji di seluruh kota kumpul, kemudian juga turun membahas ini, dan kami juga meminta pada pengumuman hari siapa peserta tes bersama dan kemudian pada hari kebebasan pers yang mungkin akan dirilis besok dari Aji, ini juga akan dimasukkan, yaitu kekerasan dalam bentuk lain. Ini soal APBD. Begitu banyak media lokal di daerah yang kemudian berendut itu dan kemudian tidak mempunyai pagar api yang jelas. Kami di Gorontalo juga cukup gencar menyuarakan itu, mengkritisi langsung bahwa ada koran yang hanya ada 2 koran di Gorontalo dan mereka rata-rata memasang advertorial, tapi tidak ditulis advertorial, dianggap sebagai berita, dan itu sangat masif sekali, Mereka bisa bertahan hidup dengan itu. Ketika di Jakarta atau di kota-kota besar lainnya masif ada isu konvergensi, orang akan mati dan lain sebagainya, sebagian besar daerah di wilayah Indonesia Tengah dan Timur saya kira sedang happy-happy-nya dengan newspaper karena ada uangnya oleh APBD. Dan ada hal yang miris, misalnya di Gorontalo beberapa tahun lalu, kasus yang sempat coba kita advokasi adalah ketika seorang reporter melaporkan kasus korupsi di lingkungan pemerintah kota waktu itu, wali kotanya marah karena merasa sudah membayar halaman khusus untuk kota. Kemudian pemimpin redaksinya membawa reporternya ke wali kota di hadapan polisi dan di BAP. Itu terjadi. Dan banyak hal lain. Ada yang mau diancam dibunuh. Hanya gara-gara itu mereka menulis di halaman yang sebenarnya itu bukan karya jurnalistik, tapi mungkin ya karena tidak tahan dan lain sebagainya mereka menulis itu. Dan caranya mereka supaya meloloskan berita itu, mereka harus sembunyi-sembunyi menunggu jam-jam terakhir editor pulang, kemudian mereka menyetor kepada layover. Belakangan reporternya tidak mau diadvokasi dengan alasan masih ingin bekerja di media seperti itu. Jadi saya pikir ini banyak terjadi. Di Papua juga saya pikir media cetak masih jaya. Di tempat-tempat lain di Indonesia Timur juga masih jaya dengan adanya modus seperti itu. Jadi saya pikir momen ini juga bisa disisihkan untuk menyuarakan hal itu, mendesak pemerintah untuk setidaknya melarang. Selama ini saya kira baru Semarang ya waktu itu ya yang sempat haji kemudian berhasil menegur, kemudian gubernurnya tidak lagi memberikan APBD kepada media. Terima kasih.
Ya, satu lagi masih ada mau bertanya.
But true, I agree that it's even ethical professional journalists get attacks. How we address and attacks, it's just one of our solutions, which is to improve the practice and make sure that journalists are equipped so they're not vulnerable to these attacks and threats. But of course, we should always maximize our mechanisms. So whatever we can use to protect journalists and to get justice for the threats and attacks, we will do so. With Afghan, I also agree that journalists and media organizations, and actually the entire profession, should self-evaluate. It's a good practice to know where we are and understand what we're doing. This also goes with the self-regulation practice because we've known that sometimes journalists don't like to talk about our faults. So it's also a good opportunity to digest where we're going wrong, why we can't get the public to trust us or get more people to get behind our efforts. So yes, I agree with you on that. With regard to repressive legislation, there are a lot. Particularly now we've monitored in Thailand, Philippines, two things that I can think of right now, that some laws are declining. Like there are a lot of amendments to laws that are supposedly good, but now is working toward more restrictive legislation. There are also existing draconian laws in each of these countries. Like Myanmar have Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia. So we're working to amend or abolish these laws. Particularly in Southeast Asia, our biggest problem, I would say, is libel. Libel is defamation, slander, lèse majesté. All of these laws are criminal laws. It means that not only are journalists fined, but they can also be imprisoned. And a lot of our journalists are targeted, not only journalists, but even just free expression, like internet users, social media users, get punished with these laws. So we wish, if not the abolishment of these laws, then just not make it a criminal act, so that we can handle, because jailing and imprison journalists is not at par with what they're doing when, if and when they make abuses or mistakes. For the AGI release, we'll wait for the report. But in any case, I would suggest that even if you report to AGI, you can also send your reports to SIPA directly. So any incident that you encounter that threatens or attacks journalists, it will be good to have those on file. So you can send it directly to me. So my contact details I will give to Casti. So if in case you need to contact me, you can provide us the case profiles. And SIPA gives a small honorarium. This is just a small honorarium for reports. So if you have reports and you're interested to put that out, and you can't do it on your media organizations because your media organizations are compromised, SIPA can publish it for you. So if you can send it, then we can host those issues. Thank you.
Masih ada mau bertanya? Oke, silakan. Teman-teman, kita tadi mulai lebih awal ya. Masih ada yang mau bertanya? Saya kasih kesempatan kalau masih ada ya. Please, if you want to ask, yeah.
I'm just a student at university in America, and I just have a question. So we're at May Day at the rally, and you know the May Day rally that happened yesterday. Yeah, and we were just shooting pictures. We're interviewing the people there. We're students. We're just students, and just trying to find out about what their concerns were, and just hear their stories. And I know we're not aware of all the laws of Indonesia. We're very new to this country, and so we go there, and then we were shooting pictures, interviewing, and then when we were going back, these policemen, this guy comes up with a badge, and surrounded by a bunch of other guys who are not in uniform, and they asked for our passport. And I know it's your law that we always have to carry a passport, but we didn't know, and we weren't carrying our passport. But yeah, they were following us, and then they grabbed my friend. They were, and then they asked for our number and our names, and they even followed us back to the hotel, and they even called the hotel. try to get they're trying to get us to talk to them, and they try to make us delete everything. I was just wondering, for like the journalists here, I was just wondering what you think about that, or what's the input? Just students who just want to film and talk to people, not acting as journalists, and how, I know maybe I broke a few laws, and I wasn't really, innocent, but I'm just interested what you think.
Actually, I don't know if you have broken any law. That's one of the tips we always say when journalists cover. Know your rights, guys. you have to be equipped. You don't just go out and make yourself vulnerable. That's why we do the trainings and safety trainings. That's why we have these things. Make sure that when you go out there, you're ready, because it's not a safe world out there. And number two, I'd like you to report that to the organizers, please, because that's a very particularly disturbing issue. So you should raise that concern to the organizers, UNESCO and AGI. That's the second thing. One, know your rights. Two, report whenever these things happen to you.
No.
I'm Anita. Also, we have several freelance journalists went out there to check the big rally against the Jakarta governor. Several journalists might not have what we call here kipas. It's a working permit basically. So the police seems to target foreign-looking journalists and check if they have those permits basically, and they will grill you if you don't have that. There's been a growing trend of how Indonesian companies and workers basically afraid of the invasion of foreign workers. So it's also pretty disturbing actually, because that didn't happen. Like there's rumors of how a million of Chinese workers come to Indonesia, etc. So it's pretty sensitive issue at the moment. But we actually, the AGI advise and help. The previous case they didn't report to AGI, but they reported to Human Rights Watch, I think, HRW. So we work and advise as we could, as best as we could, basically. But yeah, I think because I'm from the advocacy division, I think it's very important for us to know this as well, and for the future reference or rallies, like what can we do? Yeah. But if you have this, actually, it should be just fine. You set your, but yeah, they can be very intimidating and happen already several times in the past months.
Oke, teman-teman, ada yang kalau di dalamnya terkait dengan gaji dan isu-isu lainnya, lalu ada isu konglomerasi media dan adanya eksploitasi media untuk kepentingan politik oleh pemilik media, lalu juga isu Papua dan beberapa isu lainnya. Saya kira teman-teman bisa simpulkan sendiri dari diskusi. Saya kira diskusi kita pagi hari ini cukup. Terima kasih atas partisipasinya. Selamat siang. Kita bisa langsung makan saja.
Ada satu sesi terakhir itu tentang visual jurnalis. Bagaimana? Jadi ada seorang fotojurnalis, dia akan berbagi pengalaman. Ya, jam 1 kembali lagi ke sini. Itu adalah sesi terakhir untuk workshop hari ini.
KTP yang 5 tahun 2 apa? Bersama kita hadir Pak Christoph, jurnalis dari Prancis yang akan bercerita soal jurnalisme nanti akan diantarkan oleh Mbak Anita Rahma. Kita akan belajar selama 2 jam bersama Christoph cerita, dan saya berharap lebih banyak bertanya nanti. Silakan.
Yang disebutkan Mas Hasim tadi di depan kita semua, yang siap memberikan presentasi adalah Christoph Lovinly, fotografer plus jurnalis yang sudah senior ya, karena sudah menjadi jurnalis dan fotografer sejak tahun 1983, utamanya di Asia Tenggara. Pak Christoph ini aktif dan memberikan training juga kepada banyak wartawan di Asia Tenggara. Nah, di organisasinya namanya Fotodoc. Itu adalah asosiasi untuk yang bergerak khususnya di bidang visual bagi para jurnalis. Base-nya di Eropa dan di Asia Tenggara. Nah, Pak Christoph juga sudah 12 tahun aktif di situ dan memberikan training kepada banyak jurnalis termasuk Asia Tenggara. Yang akan di-share oleh Pak Christoph siang ini adalah bagaimana kita menggunakan visual yang bisa kita share di sosial media untuk advocate, untuk membantu atau untuk meng-highlight kasus-kasus human rights. Tapi tadi disampaikan juga berlaku untuk semua kasus sebetulnya ya, tapi mungkin kita bisa fokus ke human rights untuk yang siang ini. Dan Christoph bilang kalau mau tanya, kalau mau tiba-tiba menyela gitu ya, atau ingin langsung nanya, silakan aja, nggak harus sampai sesi tanya jawabnya. Oke, Christoph, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Selamat siang. Yes, as you said, I've been a journalist myself for a few years. I started in 1983, and I had the chance in my career to be both a writer and photographer. I work for television, radio also, so multimedia journalist. And what used to be an exception before is now, I think, a necessity. I think we all of us need today to become multimedia. The proof is that the way we communicate every day, all of us, we are using this all the time. And then what do? We use text and words, and we also use images. Okay, this is very new. It has become obvious, we do that every day, but it's very, very, very new actually. And the problem is that all of us, we spend at least 10 years at school to learn how to write properly. Then some of us, like us journalists, we write, we're supposed to write things meaningful, but we do not receive any education to how to write with images. The result is that the way people communicate with images is very basic. It's like baby talk, you know, baby, they don't know how to do it, they speak like get. Like when we make selfies or food photos, it's a bit like this. It's very basic language. So I had the chance myself it was my job for many years. I've been most of the time working on long-term projects to publish big stories in international magazines on many pages, stories for which I would spend weeks, sometimes months, sometimes even years. And so I've learned to master how to use both text and photos together for many years. So to come to my point, you know, as I'd like to show you first, give you a crash course on photojournalism. This is a photo. The only interest of that photo, it is the oldest photo ever published in a newspaper. First time photography was published in a newspaper about some news by a journalist, 1855, a long time ago. And I show you this photo only because it was the first one, otherwise it's a very bad photo. Very bad photo, simply because there is no information. Our job is to bring information. On this one, very hard. You may see that actually the round things here. See here? These are cannonballs. Okay, so we can guess that there was a battle there. Otherwise, zero information. So it's a very bad photo made in Crimea. Crimea is in the center of Europe. This is the part of Ukraine which has been annexed by Russia a couple of years ago. This is the reason why the photo was very bad. This was the photographer at that time. Okay. To make a photo, you had to carry a lot of equipment, a lot of chemicals, plus you had you needed a horse or a mule, and it would to take a photo, the shutter speed was sometimes minutes in the beginning. So anything moving would be blurred. That's why you couldn't take any action photo at that time, okay, because of the long time of exposure. And of course, once you make your photo, using the chemicals, etc., it's also a long process. It would take weeks to send to your newspaper, especially from Crimea to London. The guy was British, would take weeks. So imagine this is just to tell you the chance that we have today to use this thing without knowing any technique. We just press the button and we have a great photo, super easy. Okay, so no more technical problem. This one was taken a little bit later in China. This one is better. We can guess from the information that there was a battle there. We see the cannons, we see the dead soldiers. So still, it's a very bad photo for another reason. This here, we know that the photographer, his name is Felice Beato, he arranged everything to make it look good, to make people really understand. He arranged, he asked like a director to put everything on the right place for his needs. So this is obviously something that we can never do, you know, as photojournalists, we cannot touch reality. This photo here, about the same, a little bit later, this is the first time some photographers thought about doing a long-term work, not about news, not about an event, but about social problem. So here, this John Thompson is a Scottish photographer, started a long-time work about poverty in East London. First time. I guess you know this famous image. Yes? So what is it?
The crisis in the US,
yes.
The depression, right?
Yes. Can you take me about that?
Ini Great Depression yang ekonomi krisis yang parah di Amerika.
Yeah. So what is really interesting here is that this photographer, it's a lady, Dorothy Lange. Many photographers are winning. She was actually commissioned by the government to do these photos of the people suffering from the economical crisis. This may look a bit strange. You know, there are not many governments who are paying photographers to show what's wrong. Anybody has an idea why they did that? You know? It's because the government actually, there were hundreds of thousands of Americans who had lost their job, who had lost their house. They were on the road with nothing. So in 1932, a new president was elected, and his idea was to give jobs to the people. The government themselves, not the private sector, would give jobs. But for that, they needed money. And how do you get money when you're a government? You have to raise taxes. So to make people accept to raise the taxes, they ask these photographers to show the misery of the people, to touch people's art, so people will be conscious about the problem, and then they will accept to pay more taxes. So this is what actually I'm going to show you how also we can act to advocate, to inform and advocate at the same time about important issues like human rights. I'm showing you this because this was my camera for many years. This is also to show you how lucky you are, because this camera, which is a great camera, it's a Leica, but no automatic. You had to light meter to check the speed and the aperture. And one film is only 36 exposure, and the worst is that it's bloody expensive. When I was doing some stories, my budget to film was between $1,000 and $2,000 just to buy the film and process the film. So imagine, it's a big investment. Okay. True, I was able to sell my stories for a lot of money to big magazines. Still, to start with, you have to invest a lot of money. Today, you can do as many pictures as you want, that's free. That's another thing. Now, everybody can do easily and for no investment a lot of photos. That was me with my favorite camera in my younger days. Another user of Leica. Anybody knows who this is? You can maybe guess from the cigar. He is a famous photographer. He is the author of the most published photo in the world. Cigar. When do you make cigar? I know there are some good cigars in Indonesia, but Cuba, yes, is a Cuban photographer, and this is the famous photo. Che Guevara. Che Guevara, see? And so this is, you see, this is a contact sheet with David on the day where he took the famous photo in 1960. And you see, he took two photos, one horizontal and one vertical. This one is a little bit blurred. This one is really good. But this one, there is somebody above the shoulder. And at this time, there was no PS, no Photoshop. So he chose this one, okay? And he cropped like this. And then an artist made this, okay? Which you don't know, okay? And this became, in the 60s, the symbol of the revolution for the youth in many, many countries, especially in Europe and in America, where it was a symbol of the left, okay, of all revolutionary movements. What is really crazy is that many, many years later, look what's happening. The same image, because it's so strong, is used by companies to sell products. Here, Mercedes-Benz is trying to make people think that their cars are revolutionary. So if you know who was Che Guevara, you know, Che Guevara, fortunately for him, is dead because he would go crazy if he would see that. So the golden age for news photojournalism was the 60s, especially during the Vietnam War, because at this time most people were were learning about the world through picture magazines. And so yeah, people like me were going around the world, but in the 60s I was still too young. I started later, yeah. But the people I admire were going around the world, going from one country to another to show what was going on. Can I have maybe another microphone, please? Scratching maybe. Is it possible to change the microphone because it's scratched? It's not the microphone.
Thank
Thank you so much. Okay, so to go back to the Vietnam, some images, and in particular this one, which is super famous. What is interesting is that it had a strong influence, such a strong influence on the public opinion in the States, in America, that somehow it forced the government to stop the involvement in Vietnam. So you see, this is the power of photography. Sometimes you can, your images can have a real power on the public opinion, therefore on the government. This one, of course, you know, this Tiananmen Square, 89, is another example, very powerful image. Although in China, nobody knows it, it's totally taboo still today. I teach a lot in China, and nobody among my students knows this image. And here is what, for me, it's a very important event. This was taken in Myanmar in 2007 in what was called the Saffron Revolution. You know, Myanmar has been under a military dictatorship, very bad one, since 1962. And regularly there has been some huge demonstration. Every time, This was the last one in 2007, where the Buddhist monks, because it's a Buddhist country, they organized massive demonstrations. The people joined, and again the military shot. And here is actually it's a Japanese journalist who has just been shot, and he's been shot, and he's trying still to photograph or film what's going on. So what happened that year make me decide to do something in Myanmar. Why? Because most of the photos and the videos that we were able to see outside Myanmar were made not by professionals, but by citizen journalists. So, because there were no journalists in Myanmar, only there was one or two government newspapers, of course, saying what the government wants to say, but there was no free press at all. Foreign journalists, we were prohibited. When I was going there, I was going very discreetly as a tourist. So I thought that maybe I can help these very courageous people who are taking images at the risk of their life, because some of them were shot, some others went to jail. In Myanmar, there is a law that says only for the fact of owning a camera, you can go to jail up to 35 years. Okay? So in 2007, many of them were sent to jail, not for 35 years, but for 20 years. So I decided to help these people. They had the guts, they had the courage, I had the knowledge. So I started to, very discreetly, to organize some trainings for this new generation. And so far, I mean, it was, we started in 2008, now we are 9 years later, we've trained a complete new generation. We trained almost 700 people who are all working in the media and also are activists for human rights issues. To show the work that we produce during these trainings, which I'm going to show you, of course, some examples. Every year we organize a festival, which for the first time this year we had the permission to do it downtown, at the heart of the city, in front of the city hall. And we show all the stories about human rights, environmental issues, social issues. We show it to the public, together with some exhibitions. And we did that for 2 weeks, and all together we had 100,000 people as a public, and it became the biggest festival actually in that kind in the region. You see here Aung San Suu Kyi, the local leader, who was actually participate every year as the president of the jury, because we give prize. That's the way it happens. Imagine it's a bit like if there was something like that in Merdeka Square. Actually, I hope that one day we can do it there. See, also we had plenty of exhibitions like this in this garden. And for the first time, you see here, this is the World Press Photo. You know, the World Press Photo is the biggest award and exhibition in the world about photojournalism. So for the first time in the world, we were able to exhibit it in a public space at the heart of the city for free. It was a very highly symbolic gesture from the government, new government, to allow this. So it was extremely popular. So that, again, I hope we can do it one day in Jakarta. Because usually this sort of event is on closed doors. Sometimes you have to pay a fee as an entrance. So most of ordinary people, they don't go. Okay, then where it becomes really interesting for you is that this short stories, it's usually it's multimedia around 3-4 minutes. We created a special page called Myanmar Stories, and we started to upload them once a week. So we started this 2.5 months ago, and look at the figures. So this is the last one we put 2 days ago. 292,000 views. Okay. If you translate this into figures in Indonesia, you multiply by 5. Myanmar is a very poor country. It's the poorest in Southeast Asia, and with only a population of 50 million people, 5 times less than here. So 290 to close to 300,000 views is a lot. Okay, think about, I don't know, when you write an article or do a story, how many people read you? This is a lot. Look at this one, 684,000. Here, some stories about child labor, 120,000, 86,000. This one about drug addicts, 337,000. This one here, it's child labor also, 583,000. So this is what I want to tell you today. If you can produce strong stories, just with your iPhone actually, mixing text, photos, maybe videos, if it is well done, for sure you can reach a lot of people. It is today, I believe, the most efficient way to both do your work as a journalist and also address important issues, especially human rights, social or environmental. Before, of course, now what is interesting is for you to ask questions. Before starting, I'm going to show you one example, so you will understand immediately what it's all about. I will show you a series today about the main issues that come to my mind in Myanmar, and also some of them here in Indonesia. Let's say, okay, I show you, most of the time I train people who are just beginners in visual. So the one I'm going to show you was done by somebody I trained already. I trained him in 2010, and this is a work he did in 2015. But I'm going to show you because it's a masterpiece. It's the best example I have to show you how to mix text, photos, and videos about a very strong issue. This is about the Rohingya. I guess you heard about the Rohingya. This is a Muslim minority living in Myanmar, at the border of Bangladesh. And a lot of things are being written about Rohingya, and I can tell you, I know a bit the problem, 90% is wrong. Okay? Very few people are going deep enough to make you understand what is really the issue. So this one here is a masterpiece because we will understand who are these people by, you will see, getting very close to them and about the issue they have to face. Is it possible to close the light? Maybe we will have a better quality. I don't know if you can try to translate the text. This is a really fantastic quality work by Minzaya, who I trained in 2010, then he joined Reuters, and now is doing only his own project. So here it's a masterpiece because in 4 minutes we all have really a strong feeling and at the same time a lot of information about who are these people and what is the problem. Do you have some questions? A lot of questions. Okay.
Lihat ada beberapa foto yang dikategorikan foto terbaik, dijadikan foto abadi, dan saya melihat ada beberapa foto. Saya ingin konfirmasi apakah foto ini semuanya dari karya jurnalistik, dan karena ada satu foto yang tadi tidak salah ada bujil, ya, yang perempuan itu. Apakah dilihat dari segi apa sehingga dijadikan foto terbaik? Karena setahu saya kalau karya jurnalistik seperti ini dijadikan momen abadi, karena itu bujil. Jadi apakah layak dipublikasikan seperti itu dan dijadikan foto terbaik? Yang bugil itu yang tadi ada perempuan, ya, anak kecil itu. Iya. Iya.
Okay. Okay, that war, and this little girl is running on the road because a village has been bombed with napalm bomb, you know, this bomb that creates a lot of, that burns everything, and all her back is being burned, and she's running, she doesn't know where she goes, and actually the story after that is that the photographer took care of her and saved her. I met this lady who's now an old lady like me in France, the photo festival. And this photo, once it was published in America, created such a shock for the American people. You know, everybody has daughters like this, okay, all families, and seeing what Americans were, the effect of the bombing, that it has such an impact on the public opinion that it forced the government to start the peace process. And in 1973, the Americans withdrew from Vietnam. So this is a cult photos because of the impact that it had on the course of the war.
What she's asking basically is it in what limits you can actually publish, because now there's a growing discussion that even if you want to take photos of children, you should ask permission first to the parents, etc.
Okay,
So
this is war.
Exactly, but yeah.
It's a broad discussion. Okay, especially we are dealing in this topic of human rights. We are journalists. Somehow we are here to document what's happening, and then you have the people who suffer, and then you have the NGOs who are there to help the people. And I was discussing just a few minutes ago, actually, where sometimes some organizations have rules which are, I think, a bit too much, because it's so much that then they don't do anything anymore. Okay, so we need also a bit of common sense. When there's a situation like this, when it's war, okay, when the little girl is going to die, you think we have time to ask for permission and the written consent? Let's keep a bit of common sense, okay? Our job is we are into the action. We need to report what's going on, okay? This photo created a lot of discussion recently because a journalist in Sweden, I think, put it on his Facebook page. And I tell you, in the journalist community in Europe, everybody knows this photo. It's super famous. And then somebody in Facebook who didn't know the photo just censored it because of nudity of a child, etc. That was plain stupid by somebody totally ignorant. Okay. So I think we need to show a lot of respect, but we also need some common sense. And if the purpose is the right one, I think this is no problem.
Terima kasih. Saya Agam dari Makassar. Yang saya mau tanyakan adalah di daerah kami di Sulawesi Selatan ini dalam beberapa bulan terakhir itu sudah terjadi atau bahkan akan terjadi pelanggaran HAM yang sangat besar, yang sangat hebat. Ada 2 tempat di sana yang sedang diadvokasi atau sedang diliput oleh teman-teman jurnalis di Makassar dan di daerah Seko. Seko itu di sebuah kabupaten dari kota Makassar itu kira-kira jaraknya 200 km. Yang saya mau tanyakan di sini, dan ini pelanggaran HAM-nya ini diduga pelanggaran HAM-nya ini adalah perampasan tanah oleh penguasa atau pengambil kebijakan di sana yang berkolaborasi dengan aparat keamanan dan kepolisian. Nah, yang saya mau tanyakan di sini posisi kita sebagai jurnalis. Pertama, bolehkah kami mengadvokasinya bergabung dengan gerakan LSM-LSM yang ada di sana? Yang kedua, kalau memang kami memisahkan diri sebagai kita sebagai mengindependensikan diri kita di luar dari LSM dan pihak yang mau merampas tanah ini dengan peliputan-peliputan yang berimbang, seringkali kami mendapat intimidasi justru dari kedua belah pihak. Justru yang terjadi seperti itu. Jadi saat dia mencurigai kita di posisi pihak pengambil kebijakan dan pemerintah, dan di sisi lain dari pihak aparat ini ataupun TNI ini atau pengambil kebijakan kita berpihak ke LSM ini. Nah, kira-kira harus seperti apa gitu langkah konkretnya? Terima kasih.
I as a journalist, I have only one mission: to tell the public about what's going on. And I don't side on one or the other side. What I love is to report the reality. Okay? And when in the story that I just show you, this is the problem. This is a very hot issue in Myanmar, and most journalists, either if they are Muslim, they will side on the Rohingya 100%, and if they are Buddhist, they will side on the other side. We are not Buddhist or Muslim. We are journalists. We just report the reality. In the story I show you, the guy who did it is a Buddhist, but he doesn't care about this aspect. It's just showing us the reality of these people who are, some of them are so, for example, so petty, like this woman who says, "Oh, I want my daughter to marry somebody with a fair skin," where actually even her, she has a dark skin. It just shows how petty can be. See, he doesn't side on he doesn't want to make these people more better than what they are. He's just showing them in their plain reality. And this is our job, you know. And this is why it's really difficult to show all the shades of gray. At the same time, all the different opinions. And then there's a question of pressures. Then for sure, you might have a lot of pressure from the government, but then I never heard about pressure from the NGOs, except for, yes, sometimes, I can tell you a story. Yes, I had a pressure recently. I'm going to show you the story. It's, we worked actually with an NGO for doing a series of stories about violence, security for women and violence against women. One story which I'm going to show you is about rape. Rape is a huge issue, okay, in Myanmar, in France, everywhere. it's very important to have transparency because in most places this is kept absolutely secret. Then we have this strong story, and after, I show you every year we have this festival where we show the stronger story to the public, transparency. And then I got pressure from the NGOs not to show the story. And then they said, oh yes, it's because the girl, she doesn't want to be seen, although she signed a paper before, but now she doesn't want, etc. And I asked the journalist to ask the girl, and the girl said, no, I would like you to show the story. So I called back the NGO, and it was the day before the presentation. Imagine, I have tens of thousands of people waiting for me, technical problems, a big event, and the NGO is bothering me with this. But I'm very stubborn, and I asked, so tell me the good reason. It's the girl, she doesn't want her. Sorry, the journalist said opposite. Yes, but do you have the letter? Well, you are supposed to have the letter because you asked for the letter. It was the NGO themselves who asked for the letter. What they did, they destroyed the letter. No more letter. Okay? So the journalist went to see the girl, and she filmed the girl saying, yes, I want this to be published. Okay? It's just the NGO was so scared to anything happen because it was a big story. Okay? So very often they are shy, not shy, they are cautious, ultra cautious. And the bigger the NGO is, the bigger they are. Like the UN, for example, are ultra cautious. You need somebody really courageous among the UN structures to take really action. Otherwise, so slow, etc. Well, I can tell you a lot. So I'm going to show you the story, and you'll be able to judge. But then I can tell you, the girl was there. No, I'll tell you after the result of it. Sorry, I will answer, or do you prefer me to answer now?
I want to say it is not only cautious, it is also a social problem. If the society knows that this girl was raped,
Yes.
it's a big problem for herself. I think everyone is listening my voice.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why she was not willing to make
But
something.
no, it's not the girl wanted to. Okay, because it
One
is.
said she wanted to because she was raped. It
Yes.
was her problem. At the same time, if she honors the family and the society, that's why she's okay, please no.
Yeah, but
I think so.
yes, but it was not her. It was the NGO who didn't want, the foreign NGO.
They didn't want.
The NGO didn't want to show the story. The girl wanted to show the story, and it's her choice. It is her story.
Do you think that the NGOs told the girl not to make it public?
Yes, they did. Also, the other story was that the NGO was supposed, after the story was done, the NGO said, I'm going to take care of her. You will see what was her problem, because there was some follow-up. And they did not. Okay, so we were telling them also, oh, you said you were going to say, we want to end up the story by saying what you did, because there is a case here to solve. And they didn't do anything, because bureaucracy and so on. So they were like trapped. The day after was going to be shown to the whole everybody. Even Aung San Suu Kyi was going to be there, and that's why they didn't want to show it, because he didn't act. Okay, so I'm going to show you the story.
Baik bang, depan aja bang merokok. Hah? Masalah?
Maybe your guys actually.
Để anh luôn về thả kia mà thôi.
Đi không?
Tôi nghe ra được cái chưa Nếu có một chuyện tung baru jika Allah tuang
So the result is that thanks to the fact that we show this story in public, the NGO acted is now helping, giving a shelter to the girl and also paying for the medical costs for the re-education. So that's another, I mean, we all the time have to deal with the NGOs, but most of the time I think it's working well, but there are some exceptions, of course. So it's on one case-to-case basis, I guess. Ideally, I think from my experience, because we work now in Myanmar with a lot of NGOs and a lot of UN agencies, it's doing quite well, usually, because they are so happy to be able to advocate their issues in a strong way. That's something also for those of you who are freelance, for example. They have huge budgets for communication in those NGOs and those UN agencies, and they spend a lot of money for very little results most of the time. By doing things like that, suddenly they reach a lot, and their advocacy becomes very, very efficient. So they need people like you to do this sort of work for their internal communication, as well as journalists also.
For someone who don't do photography and my photography skills very limited, and probably many of us also here, what do you need to create a package like that? Like basically just photos and interviews and just...
Yes. Well, this one was made. No, this one was made with a Canon camera, but it could be done with a good smartphone. And think about if your smartphone is not if you don't have the latest model of iPhone, think about the fact that your cheap smartphone is already fantastic compared to 2 years ago. And 2 years from now, you will have the cheapest will be like the iPhone today. So this is not a problem. Okay, this is whatever smartphone is fantastic. It's a wonderful tool, and it's possible to do most of those stories. I'm going to show you another one which was done. This one with a basic smartphone about another issue. It's about unless we have another question about this. Yes. Okay. Okay.
Pertama, dari tahun 1960-an Bapak sudah merintis kerja sebagai fotografer, dan dari gambar-gambar tadi cukup ekstrim Bapak terjadi.
Not the 60s, not so.
80-an ya. Ya. Jadi saya tidak terlalu serius lihat tahunnya. Yang pastinya di dalam foto-foto itu Bapak terlibat pengambilan gambar itu terlalu dekat, dan situasi yang tadi digambarkan cukup memanas, pastinya kondisi pada saat teknik pengambilan gambar tadi. Nah, pertanyaan saya, apa yang membuat Bapak sampai hari ini bisa selamat dari setiap pertempuran dan peliputan yang Bapak lakukan? Itu yang pertama, Pak. Yang kedua, bagaimana Bapak melihat kasus kekerasan yang terjadi di Papua? Di sana bahkan 3 hari kemarin itu ada jurnalis yang dihukum. Apakah itu karena kebodohan wartawan? Ya, sampai sekarang kok masih ada saja yang dipukul, dianiaya, dan bahkan diancam, diintimidasi. Tapi bahkan kita mungkin di semua kalangan yang hadir hari ini tidak tahu apa yang mereka buat di Papua, bukan hanya jurnalisnya. Karya-karya mereka pun mungkin tidak ada yang bisa lihat hari ini di sini. Mungkin itu pertanyaan kedua saya, dan sedikit ingin saya gambarkan. Di Ambon sendiri tidak ada lagi konflik horizontal maupun konflik antar itu, dan situasinya sudah sangat kondusif. Namun perkembangan akhir-akhir ini ada konflik etnis yang itu bisa saja terjadi kapan saja, tergantung dari emosi masyarakat satu etnik dengan etnik yang lain, bukan lagi soal agama. Persoalannya banyak wartawan lokal di sana yang juga asli etnik-etnik yang ada di sana. Mereka menggunakan ID card. Di dalam ID card mereka itu ada nama dan juga marga. Marga itu menunjukkan etniknya dari mana. Nah, beberapa teman yang meliput biasanya sering ketika berhadapan atau mengambil gambar dengan massa, mengambil gambar massa yang sedang dengan tombak, parang, masa biasanya menatap ID card yang ada tulis marga mereka yang bisa saja itu mengancam juga posisi mereka. Sementara kalau mereka tidak hadir dan mengambil gambar dalam posisi yang baik, mereka juga tidak akan mendapatkan hasil yang baik untuk dipublikasikan kepada publik.
Mungkin itu terakhir saya. Terima kasih.
I would say, personally, when I was young, I loved danger and I was unconscious. I would never do again most of the things that I did when I was young because I was just excited and stupid. That I enjoyed it. Then, second thing now, I'm a lot more cautious and I don't take stupid risks. Also, I'm not interested by the news, I'm interested to explain what's behind. So I take the time always take the time, and I'm meeting the people, etc. I'm not looking for the dangerous, for the action. I'm trying to explain what the action is. I think it's a lot, it's very different, but it's also very important because this helps everybody to understand why the action and the danger is happening. So it's a different kind of journalism. All the things I'm showing you here, it's more about features rather than news. The second thing is the ID thing. I'm not sure I understand what the problem is. Because can you explain?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Sorry. The second thing about Papua New Guinea, I don't know the situation there.
Maksud saya, kita wartawan kan, jurnalis, orang tahu kita jurnalis, dan ketika kita mengambil gambar dan kita ingin mengambil angle yang baik pada situasi konflik yang terjadi di sana. Di konflik etnik itu, masa di dua kubu itu pasti berdiri kita dengan melihat ID kita, dan ketika kita menyembunyikan ID kita pun, kita juga akan terancam di posisi keamanan pasti menganggap kita tidak tahu dari kelompok yang mana, dan bisa jadi kita menjadi tumbal juga dari tindakan polisi. Pertanyaan saya, dalam kondisi kayak seperti itu, mungkin berdasarkan pengalaman Bapak meliput perang, apa yang harus kita buat?
Well, this is a situation where clearly it's much better to be an outsider than a local. Because if you're like me, I go to your place, okay, I know that I can go do dangerous things, it's my problem only, I take some risk, then I get away. If you're a local, yes, it's once you publish, then you can get the trouble. So in that kind of circumstance, I think it's better to have the news coverage by outsiders. Well, the limit is your security, obviously, and not, what else can I say? To where do you take risks? Okay? I know many people who died, so don't do anything stupid. This conference is all about this. So many of our colleagues are being killed all the time. So I think but rather than also take, again, photos of the action, what is more interesting if you are local is to work on long-term project to explain the causes of the problem, and also try to find out some positive stories that can bring people together, because this you can do as a local, you know everything. So you may come out with stories which help people to understand the other community. Like the story here that I show you, the first one, this helps a lot of Burmese people, Buddhists, to understand this Rohingya Muslim, which actually they hate, because that's the problem. Some extremist group, Buddhist extremists, make ordinary people hate by spreading hate speech on Facebook, by making conferences from village to village. There are some extremist monks. Monks are supposed to be super cool, but some of them are not at all.
Yang ketiga tadi, pertanyaan kedua, soal Papua.
Yes, pertanyaan tadi yang satu yang belum terjawab soal Papua.
So his question was, do you have any opinion on the issue? Because just several days ago, there was a journalist reported on
yang juga menjadi korban
Yeah.
ada kekerasan.
Demo ya dia?
Ya,
Like
meliput.
a rally, like he covered a rally and then he got beaten up. Do you think that's a matter of how, well, he used the word stupidity, but you know, I'm like, was the journalist really unaware, like in this?
I'm sorry, but there I cannot. I'm not going to say something. I don't know anything about the problem in Papua. I know it's very tough, but I'm not going to say about something which I don't know. Sorry, I cannot answer to that. I don't know anything about the circumstance. I don't know the general problem.
Pertanyaannya soal Papuanya atau lebih jurnalisnya?
Soal
lebih mananya?
Di Papua itu sering terjadi kekerasan terhadap jurnalis di sana. Nah, terakhir kemarin kan ada pada saat peliputan
Dan pada saat kemarin ada aksi demonstrasi di sana, ada juga kekerasan yang terjadi terhadap dan angka kekerasan secara
Mas Abu,
ya.
kalau bertanya soal Papuanya, Christoph nggak bisa komentar, kecuali soal jurnalis atau jurnalisnya. So pertanyaannya soal Papuanya atau jurnalismenya?
Soal jurnalismenya.
Ya itu langsung.
Pertanyaan saya, maksudnya apa ya? Kenapa sampai hari ini ada saja kejadian seperti itu di Papua? Selalu ada korban yang dari kalangan jurnalis dan jurnalis selalu menjadi korban di dalam setiap situasi yang ada di sana. Berdasarkan pengalaman Bapak yang tadi mungkin Bapak bisa berbagi di dalam ruangan ini, meliput di daerah seperti Papua itu harus seperti apa gitu misalnya. Di sana kan ada konflik politik, ada HAM, ada dan lain-lain. Mungkin Bapak juga kan dalam kurun waktu yang cukup lama ini pasti ada pengalaman di dalam bukan hanya meliput isu-isu soal kekerasan etnik, suku dan lain-lain, tapi juga mungkin soal konflik politik, isu-isu yang lain itu.
Again, about Papua, since I don't know, I cannot say anything. Okay.
In general, probably. In general, what is actually wrong? Is it the journalists who are still careless, or it's basically just a problem that will always be there?
No, because look, you're talking about Papua, which is not true in other places in Indonesia. So there's, I guess, a local problem. It's especially dangerous. There are places which are especially dangerous. So obviously you have to be especially careful and find ways to either to bring people from outside to cover these things. We can then leave, publish, and no repercussion, or do stories closer to the people. There are many cases where when you are local, I would say, it's so incredibly difficult not to become part of one side or the other. When it's, especially, I don't know, when really, again, I can talk about the Rohingya place. It's so hard, impossible to talk to people. They will not listen. Just like in Palestine, between Palestine and Israel, when you go there, 95% of people, they would not be able to, there's no debate possible. It's so hot, people go crazy immediately. So if it is to that point, what can you say? Just try to maybe make stories about one side, which shows positive, their positive sides. And then that will help to create a bridge by understanding each other. But always, I think that transparency is the best way.
sikap kita sebagai jurnalis yang ada di lapangan, terutama yang televisi dan fotografer. Di Lombok itu ada 35.000 orang yang setiap tahun itu berangkat menjadi buruh migran di Malaysia dan di Timur Tengah. Kejadian yang baru terjadi di Lombok itu menimpa seorang TKW bernama Rabita. Rabita ini awalnya diduga kehilangan ginjalnya. Dia mengetahui kehilangan ginjal karena ada pernyataan dari seorang dokter di Rumah Sakit Provinsi Nusa Tenggara Barat, Rumah Sakit Pusat di situ. Kemudian setelah pulang ke kampungnya, dia bercerita ke keluarganya bahwa dia dinyatakan telah kehilangan ginjal. Informasi itu kemudian sampai ke pemerintah kabupaten dan dibuat laporan oleh pemerintah kabupaten bahwa ada TKW asal Lombok Utara yang kehilangan ginjal. Itu kemudian muncul di berita, tapi sangat kecil, slotnya sangat kecil dan tidak banyak yang membaca itu karena ada di pojok sebuah surat kabar. Kemudian kami bersama kawan NGO, saya bersama kawan NGO datang ke situ, ke rumahnya Rabita. Saya memilih bersama kawan NGO itu, kawan pemerhati buruh migran itu, agar kedatangan saya bukan hanya meliput ke situ, tetapi juga memberikan bantuan kepada TKW ini. Jadi saya mengambil gambarnya. Tapi sebelum saya melakukan itu, saya bertanya pada dia, apakah dia bersedia untuk diekspos, untuk diambil gambarnya, untuk menjadi berita saya. Dia dengan sadar mengatakan bahwa silahkan, tidak ada masalah. Saya tidak hanya sampai di situ, saya tanya lagi ke keluarganya. Karena menurut saya ketika ada terjadi sesuatu, saya akan bisa bertanggung jawab karena saya tidak hanya minta izin kepada yang bersangkutan. Dan saya minta izin kepada keluarganya dan saya minta izin juga kepada otoritas desa, kadus di situ dan kepala desa bahwa saya akan memberitakan ini, mengambil gambarnya Rabita. Kemudian naiklah di tempat saya bekerja, di TV tempat saya bekerja. Nah, kemudian itu menjadi masalah karena pihak rumah sakit membantah bahwa mereka tidak pernah mengatakan ginjal Rabita hilang. Ini persoalan. Saya tidak cerita lebih lanjut lagi bahwa ini sudah menjadi berita sampai hari ini, bahkan Rabita sudah operasi ke Sanua.
What is the question?
Dan maksud saya gitu, saya tidak akan menceritakan lebih dalam lagi. Pertanyaan saya, apakah yang saya lakukan itu juga pernah Anda lakukan? Jadi tidak hanya mendapatkan izin dari korban, dari seseorang yang ingin kita angkat menjadi sumber berita kita atau objek berita kita, tapi bertanya dulu kepada keluarganya, kemudian aparat setempat di kampung itu, di desa itu. Karena saya melihat tadi ada tayangan yang Anda edit itu tentang seorang korban perkosaan. Apakah dia, korban perkosaan itu, setelah benar-benar sadar bahwa memang dia setuju gambarnya dipublikasikan dan ditonton oleh kami saat ini di sini, bahkan mungkin di tempat lain, bagaimana pertanggungjawaban Anda dengan itu? Karena setahu saya korban perkosaan atau korban apapun, mereka mungkin tidak ingin diketahui banyak orang. Mungkin pertanyaan saya itu. Terima kasih.
Well, in that case, it's very clear. She, as I was told you before, she signed the first time when the journalist made the shooting. Then the NGO destroyed the consent because actually they didn't want to show it. So the journalist made a recorded statement where she asked the story to be shown. So that's it. But we didn't ask for and the husband, he signed it. This is quite incredible. He signed the consent before, before he had to run away because he got scared to be arrested. But we never asked consent to the local authorities or to the head of the village, because then there is no end, okay? And the only person who has a consent to give is the person responsible or the parents if it's a minor. Then you may have the case where people sign and then they change their mind. This can happen. Then in that case, what can you do? You can just, if you put the story on the net, you take it out. If it's on TV, it's done already. If it's printed, it's done already. But anyway, that's life. Some people change their mind, but otherwise, we can never do anything. Already, the fact of asking people to sign consent, it's a very recent thing. In most of my career, we would never even think about it. We just use common sense of not endangering people after we publish something. But this thing of writing, of asking for consent, is something very, very recent, actually.
Dari paparan awal Pak Christoph adalah menyampaikan bagaimana seorang jurnalis itu membuat gambar yang bisa membuat perubahan. Kita melihat bagaimana foto di perang Vietnam itu akhirnya mengubah kebijakan pemerintah Amerika Serikat terkait perang di Vietnam. Ada situasi-situasi yang kemudian kita tidak bisa menegaskan posisi kita sebagai seorang pengambil gambar yang kemudian tidak membentur pada persoalan etik, pada persoalan ancaman terhadap jurnalis itu sendiri. Tadi kawan Abu Haruku menyampaikan betapa riskannya mengambil gambar yang diharapkan membuat perubahan itu berhadapan dengan kultur di Maluku, marga yang Islam, marga yang Kristen, dan mereka saling berhadapan. Dan tahun depan itu akan berada di sebuah panggung kontestasi perebut kekuasaan. Ini merupakan panggung yang legal, tapi juga memiliki potensi persoalan yang memprihatinkan sebenarnya bagi kehidupan demokrasi. Saya ingin bertanya kepada Pak Christoph, pendapat Anda bahwa jurnalisme itu ada nilai-nilai, ada value di situ, bahwa tugas utama seorang jurnalis itu adalah mengadvokasi kepentingan publik. Tugas utamanya adalah menyampaikan kebenaran, dalam hal ini dengan melalui gambar. Namun dalam perkembangannya sekarang, ketika fakta melalui gambar disampaikan melalui sebuah pengambilan angle yang bagus, yang kita harapkan itu memiliki cukup kemampuan untuk mengubah kebijakan pemerintah misalnya terhadap satu kebijakan yang mengorbankan kepentingan publik, itu seringkali sekarang itu mendapatkan perlawanan dari pihak yang ingin dikontrol, misalkan korporasi yang dilindungi oleh negara dan berlindung di balik kepentingan yang lebih besar. Kita ambil contoh dalam kasus semen yang sedang dikerjakan di Rembang. Ada seorang jurnalis kawan yang kemudian merasa ketika upayanya untuk menjadikan gambar mampu mengubah kebijakan publik, tapi ternyata pemerintah korporasi itu dipandang buta, tidak punya kemampuan untuk mendengar, maka kemudian dia pindah atau dia melepaskan posisinya sebagai seorang jurnalis menjadi seorang pembuat film yang independen. Dia mengatakan pada saya sudah bertobat dari seorang jurnalis. Karena posisi seorang jurnalis itu membelenggu dia untuk menggunakan gambar, mengadvokasi kepentingan ribuan penduduk yang terancam oleh keberadaan semen itu. Maka kemudian dia melepaskan dirinya dari profesi jurnalis dan film-filmnya jelas keberpihakannya kepada masyarakat yang sedang dia bela. Saya ingin bertanya Pak Christoph, apakah ada cara lain supaya gambar kita, video kita itu memiliki daya rubah yang cukup signifikan ketika pengambil kebijakan yang berkolaborasi dengan korporasi itu mau mengubah kebijakannya yang sesungguhnya di dalam penelitian mengenai analisa mengenai dampak lingkungan itu jelas akan menghancurkan ekologi di sana, dan kemudian air itu tidak akan bisa mengaliri sawah-sawah yang merupakan penghidupan bagi para ribuan petani yang ada di sekitar situ. Apakah ada cara lain kecuali kita bertobat dari seorang jurnalis menjadi seorang pembuat film independen, sehingga gambar kita itu sungguh memiliki daya rubah terhadap kebijakan yang semacam itu. Terima kasih.
Okay. So basically, the big question is, he mentioned about the very strong image of the war that changed the policy in the US. And here, he knows someone who left journalism, mainstream journalism, to become a filmmaker because he thinks that the journalist label on him to be proper both sides, etc. It's not enough to advocate, to bring about justice to the people. So he make films instead, and he feel free. His question: is there any other way to influence, to change the policies without taking a very extreme U-turn, from journalist to like completely not a journalist?
Well, there's not much difference also being from journalist to documentary maker. It's a very, very thin line.
But,
okay?
but you can choose your side clearly. Being
a documentary maker. Yes, true. But the fact is, we have so many possibilities. This is what I like today. Thanks to internet and thanks to these things, everybody can produce, either being a journalist or being also a documentary maker, and you can do both. You can be a journalist in the morning and prepare a long-term project that you put on TV as a private person or on internet. I don't see any contradiction there. It's just the possibilities are huge and a lot easier than they used to be. The fact is, before, to be a journalist like me, you had to fight a lot to have access to a few big magazines or newspaper. Today, no need. Same thing if you want to be a documentary maker, to have access to a TV channel, super difficult before. Now, again, you put it on internet. So I don't see any problem. It's a lot easier before. You have all this spectrum of possibilities, and up to you to use the one you prefer.
But if you still want to be a journalist, but do an extreme thing like showing side in a way. I know you cannot because you don't have religion, you don't have, like just what you said, being a journalist, like you put aside everything that define you, right? But he feels that he cannot advocate, like he cannot do big impact.
Write a book, write your blog, work on a documentary, which you sign, and what is important in all those matters is honesty. What I don't like is the journalists who, as journalists, are expressing their own opinion. This is what we are surrounded with most now, more and more. Even on, I don't know, for example, in France, the French state-owned channel, extremely good politics, except that more and more we listen to the opinion of people. I don't want to listen to the opinion of those people, these journalists. I want news. But on the side, if the same people want to do a documentary and then sign their documentary and put it on the internet, or I can see it in a movie house, that's very clear. What is important is to be honest and be clear with what you do. In there, I'm acting as a journalist. There, I'm acting as a documentary maker. Here, I'm a movie maker. Here, I'm a writer, I write a book. The problem is those who are writing as journalists and who are not acting as journalists.
That's possible, yeah. Like to...
You can have a career. I know, like me, I do different things. Most of my friends, they have a job in an agency, and if they work at AFP, they are not going to do any documentary, but they can, on their free time, and on the weekend, on their holidays, they are very free to make a documentary.
Christophe, this is technical issues. Probably you can show us what kind of tools, cheap tools that you can use. Do you have a smartphone?
Okay.
But, can you show us what we can use? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Lihat dulu ya.
I'll show you one more story made by a smartphone, and then I show you how it works after that. But of course. For the shooting, that's easy. Photos, videos with the smartphone, and then I'm using, you see, this is Keynote because I have a Mac, otherwise you use a PowerPoint. You just insert. It's just a matter of so easy. It's a child's game to prepare it. And technically speaking, there's no zero difficulty. Everything is storytelling, just the way you write the story. It's the same thing.
Not report or anything, but just this.
Just this. Yes. Zero technical problem.
And we can start just see interesting topics near us, right?
You know, it's only what's the most important is the story, and then which angle, and you should start by making a storyboard, thinking, preparing your story, researching on your story, just like any other thing.
Christophe, I know we have 3 questions at least from the floor, but the committee told me that time is up. So you stay here with us first because we have an official closing ceremony, and friends stay here. We can chat with Christophe after this. But I would like to invite for the official closing ceremony Miss Hilde Solbakken, the acting ambassador of Royal Norwegian Embassy in Jakarta.
I wanted to first of all say that I'm really happy to be here and be able to join you at the end of this seminar. But at the same time, I have to say now, I'm also really sorry that I'm coming in to close it, because I can see that this is a seminar with very engaged participants who still have lots of questions and things to discuss. So I'm really sorry to put an end to it. But really, I'd like to congratulate all of you for taking part in completing this workshop on human rights and safety for journalism. I really hope both the days that you have spent here have been fruitful for you, have had useful discussions, given you hands-on learning, practical solutions to how to carry out your jobs safely. Certainly the topic that you have dealt with couldn't be more important at this moment in time. For the Norwegian government, promoting freedom of expression worldwide is one of our top priorities. We see freedom of expression as really the basis for and the very foundation for democracy. We need the free exchanges of opinion to make good policy decisions. We need freedom and access to information if we are going to be able to hold our governments accountable. In other words, we need freedom of expression to ensure the realization of other human rights as well. And you, the journalists, you of course play the key role. Free and independent media is vital to any vibrant democracy. You disseminate knowledge, views and ideas to help shape the public debate. And a strong and diversified and independent media can be an important watchdog when we see abuse of power, human rights violations, corruption, or lack of transparency. Sometimes your reporting can lead to real change. In other cases, which is maybe more what you've been discussing today, you face obstacles, maybe even threats when you report on sensitive cases like human rights abuses. And I'm very sad that this is a development that seems to be happening in the world now. More and more obstacles more and more violence and threats against journalists because of the work that they're doing around the world. You all realize the seriousness of this, because it's not only the threats against the single independent journalist here or there, but this is the kind of development that could really silence journalism and journalists in so many societies. And I have to say, I just love the slogan for the World Freedom of Press Day this year: critical minds for critical times. Because I think that just encapsulates perfectly what it is that we need at the moment. And we have to somehow ensure that these critical minds and critical voices can still be heard. So, from what I hear from the seminar, you really have had a very practical approach to this. I'm very glad that you have also been talking about safety when you work in the digital space. I think that's becoming more and more important. And I just heard now also some practical ways of working and getting messages across. So I hope these are all things that you will take back home with you and make you even stronger journalists when you go home to your home countries or continue to work here in Indonesia. So I hope to see many of you during the celebration of the World Press Freedom Day in the next few days. It's a fantastic occasion. I mean, all the biggest experts on freedom of the media will be gathered in Jakarta, giving all of you a unique opportunity to get new perspectives on your work. So let me then close with a big thank you to the Alliance of Independent Journalism for organising the workshop. And just to say that Norway, we're very pleased that we have been able to support this event. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and AGL also very grateful to have your full support. And how very rude I am. I haven't thanked you and just did the closing ceremony. But a big applause for for those who have questions, they can still come to you, right? After this.
I can say just
oh yeah.
Yes, I just wrote there. You see, if you can look on Facebook. This is the example of, I told you, the media which we created simply on Facebook, and which is now reaching millions. So if you want to have the power, okay, which I described and I showed you the figures, to produce strong stories about human rights, this is the best way to take it as an example, okay? Because it's not only necessary to make the stories, then you have to make them known. This is very, very, very efficient. Then I hope that in the future we have a project, we started to talk about it, to make some special trainings how to make powerful photo stories. I hope we will manage to do it. We may actually discuss about it. The European Union is very much interested to start it. I hope in the future I may train trainers who then can go in all the parts of Indonesia and spread this knowledge, because it's so actually technically easy. It's just the essence of storytelling, but about very important issues.
So this is introduction, and we
Yes.
look forward for something
Yes.
in the future.
Yes.
Like, and hopefully you will come to the branches of
Yes.
AGIA
I am
and
sorry.
across the Archipelago.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hope to see you again there. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, friends and all participants. I think that's all for the training for today. And if you have questions, you can come forward to talk to Christoph. Otherwise, have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
2, 3. One more. One more. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Boleh?
Oke. 1. Yuk. 2. Ini rapat lagi, rapat lagi. Oke, 1, 2, 3. Tahan belum? Yo, gabung. Oke, 1, 2, 3. Woi, gitu ya. 1, 2, 3.